What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. It is January 25th, 2021. I am Brandon Toy, host of Brandon's Show. Hope everybody's doing good out there. I see we've got a crowd, quite the crowd, in the chat already. Hope everybody's doing good. Let's say hello right off the bat. Page 42. YouTube, Mark Collard, Neo the One, Ian Adams. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me make sure you guys can hear. Yes, I think you can hear me. Okay. Chrissy Heavey, Hobbs. Let's see. Flat for Life. What's up? Brandon C. Almost Unbelievable. What's going on? Mark Collard. And I'm scrolling up. Matrix Media. What's up, Matrix Media? Page 42. I might have already said that one. Hello, if I missed your name. Little discombobulated to start the show off. I just got back from taking my daughter to the doctor's office and having her blood drawn. And I ended up having to hold her down. Then we rushed back home. She did not want to get her blood drawn. So she's got a healthy skepticism of medicine, which, I do too. So anyway, just got back. Got some stuff planned for tonight. Going to talk about a video I put over the weekend. We hit on it on Friday extensively. We've looked at it a couple times, but it is satellites falling into clouds. I thought we might take a look at the comments that we got on the video and see what kind of explanations, and maybe someone on the panel has an explanation that will make sense juxtaposed with what we actually see in the video, which is satellites falling towards Earth and into clouds. That's what I see. I don't know how you can see anything else, but we'll see. Some people have made some effort to say they see something else, so we'll take a look at that. Came across a website. Somebody watched the video. Blake has a website and a Twitter. It's pretty active. Thought we might bring that up, take a look, see if anybody knew anything about that. He had an interesting proof on there. I'm trying to get him on the show to talk to us about it regarding sun angles at equinox. So that might be cool. And then a while back, Decadent left a comment on a video or an episode, one of the two. And it was pretty dang interesting about perspective and optics. And I thought we might review that. And we'll see what else comes up. But anyway, if you want to support the show, you can do it through Streamlabs or Super Chat, however you want. Not required, but here's the link. And I'll pin it to the top for your convenience. And if you want to join the show, the Discord link is in the description. Come on in, show us some evidence that you found, tell us a new argument that you have, or just hang out, listen, talk when you feel like it, whatever. Come on in, play with the endless ball trolls in the chat. Some people are into that kind of thing, and there's plenty of that to do in the Discord. All right, let's see what we have. Speaking of Discord, let's pop in and say hello.
Oh, you have no proof of that fairy tale story. I'm like, humans made gold in a lab out of mercury. And as far as we know, that's the only place we've ever seen gold come from. Anything else?
You tell him, if he claims like the sun or whatever is made of gold, you tell him, hey, you, out.
No, the straight and curved thing, Jeremy, is really something. It's like mind-boggling. The double speak is so evident. I don't know what to say.
That was a gold joke because AU is gold.
AU
out. Yeah. Anyway, moving along. Yeah, this nonsense and
how was everyone's weekend? Good? You guys good?
What's going on, guys? My weekend was pretty good. What's up, Jeremy? Let's see who we got. Mark Helvetica Bold, what's up, man?
I'm good, thanks. Good to be here.
Good. Jeremy, how was your weekend?
It was all right. Water park wasn't all that it was cracked up to be. They only had the lazy river open, so it wasn't really that great, but it was good.
No slides?
Nah, they had all the shit shut down.
What the hell, man?
Corona. Apparently, you can't get corona in the lazy river, just everywhere else.
That's the place I would expect to get corona. Okay. Jimbo, what's going on, man?
Hey, not too much. I just want to let everyone know that this light that is brighter than the sun, a handheld searchlight, is being promoted now from Thrunite at $160. US. I paid well over 300, almost 4 for it. And I loved every minute of it. So I think it's one of the tools that every, flat earther shouldn't leave home without. But it's
What
just
is
an
it?
opinion. But it's a flashlight that's brighter than the sun that can project a beam that, well, really, you can see 5 miles away and more. I reflected off a dish that's 12 miles. So I'm getting reflection from my handheld flashlight that's in the link to Thrunite and their actual website for it. And, it's not too hard to find on YouTube people demonstrating this little beauty. But anyone, there's a father and son. The father goes 5 miles away. They're in Iowa or something, or Ohio. And the kid turns on the light. Dad's on the cell phone. You hear his dad laughing because he knows what the flashlight looks like, how big it is. And no one sees a flashlight 5 miles away. There's none that do that, but this one does, and farther. So he's giggling, he's laughing, he's glowing because, he's in disbelief almost. And I'll tell you, when you have one of those in your hand and you're shining it, you do feel warm and fuzzy. So I hope a lot of you, think about it and, if you're serious, shell out a few bucks, order one up and get that warm and fuzzy feeling.
All right, Jimbo. How much do you get for each unit sold? Do you have a promo code, dude?
No, oddly, the promo code is Jimbo. So you type in Jimbo and you'll get it.
You hear that, folks? Thrunite, guiding you through the night, as bright as the sun. Promo code Jimbo.
Well, this flashlight on 1 lumen, which is as bright as the moon, on a full charge can run for 30 days.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that would keep your tent and your camp lit for a full month every night on one set of batteries.
Wow, that is amazing.
If you got lost, it'd be a beacon for someone to find you. People see it miles away if you're doing an SOS, and there is an SOS on that.
Can you run it over with a car?
Well, it's made of fine aircraft aluminum construction. It's a beautiful thing, but it is. It has a glass cover over the LED and stuff, and it has the face is obviously fragile in a sense. Yeah, I've had a couple of them. I've never broke them and sort of dropped them and stuff, and they can take a bit,
Okay.
But it's not a mace. You're not supposed to go clubbing things with it, but you can blind people with it temporarily. Absolutely, fucking incredibly. But anyway, flat earthers, toys. It's a toy for you, like a $20 50-mile laser. That little combo, boy, oh boy, you're set.
There you go, folks. I put the link
this
in the
lady-
YouTube chat.
Awesome. And I pray and hope some people get it and get that warm, fuzzy feeling. It's nice.
Cool.
And it'll last a lifetime.
Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention, Jimbo. The fine people at, what was it called? Thrunite. We'll be very thrilled with your message there. SE Montreal, what's up, man?
Yes, sir. Good night. Good evening. I mean, Brandon, Jimbo, Jeremy, Mark. What is this? 1-800-JIMBO, for crying out loud. Rest tranquille.
It's QVC, man. Last week we were looking at those monoculars. Remember that? Somebody said, what is this, QVC?
Yeah.
It's multi-level marketing in disguise. Pyramid sales. But don't tell anyone.
I gotcha. That's what you've been doing this whole time, Jimbo, in the flat earth, just waiting for your opportunity to sell some.
It was all leading to this moment.
Huh. So what's going on, man? Anything mind-shattering going on out there in the world of flat earth?
Bro, I saw the video you put about the satellites falling into the clouds. So I brought it to him in Gems. And I got some weird shit. I don't know if you're listening or not, but I got some weird shit back.
I heard a little bit of it. Yeah. It was a very interesting conversation. What was the conclusion that they came to?
Well, I mean, just like everything else, a pinata of excuses started to explode. And I asked them what stopped them from falling, because the satellites appear to be falling, so you're going to need something to stop them, because an object in motion will stay in motion and all that. So they said conservation of momentum. Somebody said, I got that, which is, that's their baseline excuse for almost anything these days. Then I got maybe the rockets had fuel or some kind of propulsion system on them. I forgot what else I got. I don't know, just weird shit.
Well, I
So
mean,
they're
they got
conserving downward momentum, in other words, because they're traveling down, right?
yeah,
Bingo!
they're not going to stop until
Game
they hit the
over.
Earth. Yeah, the force of the Earth pushing back on them will stop their momentum for sure. Yeah, I'm playing it on screen here, and I gotta tell you, it looks like they're dropping shit into these clouds right here. And at one point, you definitely see it go under a cloud, in my opinion.
Oh, they said they're not dropping into the clouds. It just appears that way because of digital zoom.
Digital
I was
zoom.
like, I got that.
What?
Yeah, digital zoom makes it look like they're apparently.
Okay.
I've seen its breakdown when you say it goes into an empty thing and then disappears. Appears just like the way that right there, yeah, right there.
Yeah, does that not look like it goes into the clearing between those clouds and then goes behind a cloud?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it couldn't be any more clear if you ask me. Digital zoom. Yeah, it's a digital artifact. It's weird how many digital artifacts and stuff like that there are in the flat Earth arena.
Yeah.
It's all about the pixels, Brandon.
Yes, it's all about the pixels. I heard that one too, and there must not be enough pixels right there. Although we can still see of them. It's weird how the pixels getting duller coincide with it appearing to go behind that cloud, and then you can't see it anymore when it's further appears to be behind that cloud. Just a coincidence, I'm sure.
Just a coincidence. And why are they traveling downwards? Why are they traveling towards the Earth?
That's the other big
question. Do you know about those satellites, if they did in fact have a propulsion system on them? Because they would need that to stop them from going down.
I have a link to their website where they talk about the satellites, and I didn't read too much about it, but let me open that up here and see what it says.
Well, we're right in the middle of the show. I don't want you to read a whole fucking essay.
Well, I won't read the whole essay. I just want to see if there was something we could glean right off the bat.
Yeah.
I don't know which ones they are because they dropped like 9 commercial satellites were successfully injected into designated orbit.
Well, they're all dropping down, so they would have all needed propulsion systems, to stop them from going down, because what would stop them from going down?
Yeah, good question. I mean, they definitely look like they're going down.
That was the first, besides them disappearing into the clouds, that was the next thing I thought of well, what's stopping these from going down now?
Yeah, let's see. I've gotten a lot of responses in the comments that are pretty interesting. Actually, I pinned this one from C4. He said, Brandon, I'm honestly not sure what that is. In the source video, C4 is Glober, by the way. In the source video, you see some kind of satellite being deployed, and that's what they normally look like when deployed. That's one of the ones that you see kind of floating out the back before you watch these ones drop, the coffin ones. There are 3 objects falling back to Earth. At least that's what it looks like to me. So C4, kudos to you for at least acknowledging what it looks like. That's appreciated.
What did you say this came? Did you say this came from some half-ass Pakistan space organization or something? They're
gonna be pissed at you. It's Indian Space Organization, Indian Space Research Organization. That's who Phil works for. He's the one who turned me on to this video.
The thing is, America is the best at faking space. So when you have other countries trying to fake space, they don't do it as good, and you get these kind of like weird anomaly things happening.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
You guys are at advantage. You have Hollywood.
That's what I mean. We're the best. I mean, we're the best. That comes from JAXA or these other ridiculous countries. They can't even fake it good.
No, and you watch it and it's a lot different than ours. And then you'll hear the excuse, well, they used a different camera, or the lighting was different, or the whatever was different. I was like, that doesn't look like our shit looks like. Why?
Because they can't fake it as good.
Case in point, the Chinese one, when they landed on the backside of the moon. That was the biggest joke I've ever seen, bro.
Oh, yeah, China's terrible at faking it, yeah.
Yeah, we got to look more closely at these foreign footage that they put out.
Yeah, that's why the Globers are always like, why you always want to talk about NASA? It's like, dude, I'm doing you a favor because you don't want to bring it to the other countries' space agencies. They're absolutely ridiculous.
Totally.
So now
ridiculous.
we have two questions here, right? These things are traveling downwards. Now, how are they going to get up to their orbital, whatever orbit it is? Is it geostationary? Is it a GPS range? Is it mid-low level orbit? How are they going to...
Well, that's one of the things that I did find out is these were supposed to be injected in orbit. Well, at least this one satellite, the first one was at 576 kilometers. And then shortly after that, I'm guessing since the video is cut, then they released the other satellites. But 576 kilometers, that's like higher than the ISS, right?
How high was this? Oh, these were released from the ISS?
No. This was released from that rocket that I showed on screen.
How high was the rocket when it released them?
576 kilometers. 350 miles higher than the ISS, supposedly. Way too high to be dropping anything into clouds.
That's higher, bro. Yep. Significantly higher.
Yep.
But the satellites look like they dropped way down.
They do. Yeah, they look like they dropped way the hell down and go into some clouds, which are not that high, by the way.
So where were they dropped from? That's a very good point, bro. If they were dropped at 350 miles...
I don't know,
Where were they dropped from? The ISS is at 225, 250 max, right?
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to see these guys do some mental gymnastics, we should be going over the other countries' space footage because it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, we should take a closer look at all that stuff that comes out of China and India and wherever the hell else. I was thinking about that over
Maybe the rocket. Oh, sorry, Brandon.
Oh, that's okay. I was just gonna say, have you guys ever seen a like blue marble image from those other countries? Like, you know, they had the Israel, I think, went to the moon past few years and crashed, and then China went. Have they ever like done a blue marble type photo?
Why would they waste their time on that for you? Come on,
bro. They crashed landed on the moon. They crash landed on the moon when I was 7 years old. I dropped an egg off the roof of my school, and it made it fine to the ground. As a 7-year-old, didn't crash or anything. Landed perfectly fine. The egg was intact. These guys can't do it as grown-up adults.
Well, Brandon, come to think of it, didn't Professor Phil Bell tell us that he told us that he has a video from the rocket leaving orbit all the way past, and it shows the Earth? Didn't he say that? This
is what he gave us when we were Ranty was bugging him for video because he said, I've got videos. I was bugging him for videos. A lot of people were bugging him for videos. This is the only thing that I've received from him as far as take a look at this video.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty the opposite of what I would expect to see.
I know. We looked at this a couple months ago too and laughed about it at the time. But when we looked at it on Friday, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to put out a little video on these satellites because this doesn't make any sense to me at all why it looks like this. I mean, you tell me those aren't dropping? They look like just like a parachutist who jump out of a plane look like when they jump out. They're falling towards the Earth, clearly.
They're dropping hard. They're dropping hard. It's not even a question of if they're dropping. It's obvious.
And are they firing up? Because you see these lights in the back of them, or do they have parachutes that are opening or something? Do you see how there's that white on the back of them?
I don't know. They're going to need something to stop them from hitting the ground, though, because otherwise they're just going to fall right to the ground at that rate.
There, you see it open right there. Watch this, guys. Watch this. Okay, watch. See that? Oh, let me pause it. Okay, let me back up a little bit here. I'm a little discombobulated. All right. So now watch the two on the right. Okay, do you see that white thing? You see a white on the back of these, and then you see a black part, which is what they look like when they came out. But look at this closer one. It doesn't have that white thing there yet, right? Now watch. Boom. Parachute.
Yeah, man. There's a white thing on top of that. Good catch, bro.
It just came out, right? That's exactly what a parachute looks like when it opens. Check that out.
Well,
or it's some sort of atmospheric effect or whatever. But yeah, there's a white thing there, man.
But dude, it happens to all of them. You see the
yeah.
And it happens in like order. Watch, it's going to open right now. Boom, parachute opens.
Yeah, man.
These half-ass countries cannot fake space as good as NASA can.
So what do you need a parachute for in space?
Could it be a balloon instead of a parachute?
Maybe that. Oh, that's a good one. It could be a balloon. A balloon would look very similar to that too.
Float him right there. Float him just above the atmosphere, no?
Yep. It looks like just before they hit the clouds, this parachute or balloon, what else could it be? What else could it be?
But Brandon, why would they lie though?
Yeah, why would I forgot about that. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, why would they
Thank you
lie?
for reminding me that. Yeah, somebody reminded me the other day too that I don't understand, and I was very appreciative because I keep
I
forgetting.
forgot that. Yeah.
But
So if it's at 350 feet, it would have to be from a rocket, right? Because it certainly cannot be from the ISS, right?
350 miles, no, it can't be from the ISS.
I mean, the miles. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Oh man, it's very pixelated. They're telling me in the chat. Shoot, damn it! I don't know why it's doing
That's
that
too
today.
bad. They should see this.
Yeah, this is good stuff. Okay, I'm gonna try restarting it one more time, guys. I think I'm just forgot to click streaming again. All right, hold on 1 second here while I get this all straightened out. All
I
right.
know what they're gonna say.
Should
I
be
got
fixed
it.
now, guys. Sorry about that. All right.
I know what they're gonna say, but I'm not gonna give it away in case they're not smart enough.
Okay.
Don't help
That'll be
them.
interesting. DM it to me. DM it to me. I won't say it.
Okay, all right, I'll do it.
All right. I want to see what you're going to say, what the excuse is going to be. But speaking of excuses, I mean, dude, Jeremy, do you not think this is red-handed, dude? Watch. Here's a close-up. You can see it on the left.
Oh, I can't look at my
Boom.
phone right now. I believe you though, and
Dude,
bro, I think they're falling into the clouds. That alone, the fact that they're falling into the clouds and falling alone is a dead giveaway. Let alone this parachute thing that's coming to light.
boom. Absolutely clear cut. Caught red-handed. Now I'm going to have to put up a follow-up video.
Yeah, bro, we should dedicate like a half hour once a week or something, or a few minutes at least, just to go over the other countries' bullshit space fakery.
Oh, for
'Cause
sure.
like I said, you'll have these guys doing some real mental gymnastics if you start bringing up all that Jackson Chinese bullshit.
Yeah, if you guys come across a video, I'll start looking for stuff too, but start looking at all that foreign videos and stuff. Check out the Indian Space Agency before they catch on to the fact that they busted themselves red-handed with this video. This is probably the most clear-cut piece of fakery that I've seen. I can't think of an excuse for this.
Well, let's have
No,
some
Brandon,
reporters.
this is beautiful, not only because of what you just said now, but because of the downward vector.
Yeah,
Like, it's double whammy, bro.
yeah.
Like I said, that was the second thing I thought of. Well, okay, maybe you have an excuse for why they're not going through the clouds, but why are they going down? Aren't they supposed to be going in orbit?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything compelling when I was listening to you talk to them in Gems. And speaking of not compelling, like I said, Phil is in here too. Phil responds to some of these comments. Of course, I get called some names, but that's okay. That happens every day. Phil says they are not falling
Teo?
towards Earth. It's an optical illusion. Yeah, Professor Phil Bell, who the video came from.
All right.
The cube satellites are photographed with two different cameras on either side of the satellite. The one on the right is seeing the RISAT satellite, while the left camera is focused on the other 9 satellites. Thank you, Phil, for confirming that what we are supposed to be seeing in this video is satellites. Double whammy for you, sir.
And, sir, what are those white things that we see? What would you say that is, Professor Phil Bell?
Yeah, let's hear the white things excuse now.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
Well, what's stopping them from going down, and what are the white things? 2 questions.
Yeah,
That too, yeah. How do they attain their orbital altitude? I want to know that as
Wait,
well.
he said they're not falling down?
He says it's an optical illusion.
No.
They are not falling towards Earth. It's an optical illusion. Not a surprising response. Damn, I am really getting hit on the bandwidth over here. The audience is suffering. Sorry, guys. I'll restart it again. Hopefully this, whatever's going on, ends here pretty soon. saying that the other one's focused on the satellites is he just confirmed that that's what those are supposed to be. So they can't come back and say, those aren't satellites. Those are something else that dropped whatever other excuse. So he took one excuse away. Thank you. And then C4 says, thanks, Phil. I guess I don't understand you correctly or can't picture it in my head very well. I can't either, buddy. And I appreciate your honesty, C4. And then there's Tim A is all over this. He's got some good excuses too. Like, oh, here's what, like I said, those aren't clouds. Guys, those aren't clouds.
Ah! They're not clouds.
Space foam. Space foam.
There aren't any.
Gymnastics, Brandon.
Here's why, Jeremy. There aren't any at those altitudes.
The same circular logic that they use with everything.
So they can't be clouds because they don't have clouds at 350 miles up. Well, you are here. While you are here, show us the simple, measurable size and dimensions of your flat Earth fantasy to prove it exists. We will see who the fanboy is. Not a good time to bring up other people's fantasies, Tim, when you're denying the obvious clouds in a video. But I get you. He's the guy who
we're
always
right in the
asks
middle
for
of your
maps.
fantasy nonsense.
Every single video I've ever put out, he asked me for a flat Earth map.
That's all he's got, dude. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have any map that has curvature in it. They're only distance and elevation maps, but it's the same repetitive thing with him.
Yeah, same thing.
He doesn't realize the maps he's looking at only have 2 measurements on them.
Right. Damn, I gotta apologize to the audience again. This is crazy what's happening with this bandwidth tonight. Never had this kind of okay, back once again. Come on, keep your fingers crossed that this crap doesn't keep going. Sorry, guys. Let's continue with the excuse-a-thon. I do enjoy going through these. Hope you guys do too. They are not actual clouds. They are apparent clouds. Oh, this is a sarcastic one. They are actually not there. Nothing to see. Move along.
I read that comment earlier. I was laughing the apparent cloud one. That's funny.
Yeah, it is funny. Master Agario, very, very humorous. And our very own Mark Collard. Looks like bombs being dropped from high altitude bomber to me. That's what it looks like to me too. And that's kind of what I suspected, was that they're testing some kind of weapon system, or who knows? That's one possibility of what they could be doing. I have no idea.
Or they're just faking space, dropping shit out of a fucking whatever is up there, and it's nothing.
That's another totally legitimate possibility too.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon, have you addressed the models yet? The models that they presumably put all the calculations into before they send the actual product out into space?
No. What? From what angle do you mean, Data?
Well, so what they do is they always have to calculate, how long it's the shelf life, let's say, of each drone, right? Each drone has a shelf life,
Yeah.
right? They don't stay up in orbit forever, do they? Right? They have a shelf life. So I just wanted to know how they calculate the shelf life on these particular square little drones when, they claim some stay up for 180 days, some stay up for 5 years, right?
Right.
So these little square drones that are being, or these little square satellites that they're dropping, like the size of a fist or the size of a little mini cooler. That's basically what they're dropping up the in this footage, right? It's like a little miniature size cooler CubeSat, if you will.
Yeah.
Is that correct? That's what they're.
Well, here's what they're calling them. They're saying 9 commercial satellites. These satellites were launched under commercial arrangement with New Space India Limited. So I don't know if they're CubeSat. I don't know what they are. They're like rectangular, coffin-shaped ones. Maybe No,
there's so many, but they vary in sizes, and the ones that they're pumping out now are, the size of maybe a human head, right? Maybe a little bit bigger than a human head. They're popping out these little CubeSats. Right, this is what the universities are all working on. All these, if you look at these stock companies, right? If you want to go see where the scam is real deep, is go to the marketplace, Wall Street, and look up these drone companies and sat companies that are claiming to put these products in the air.
Our
Now-
University of New Brunswick is one of those satellite and all space agency promoted bullshit. from
Yeah.
the
So what I'm saying is if you look at their data providing, it transitions from a classroom setting, right, or a lab where it's facilitated, all the tech is put together. But then you've got the delivery stage where it goes out to the delivery person, and then you got how it's delivered. Are they delivered in rockets? Are they delivered in balloons? Like, what's the delivery system that they're using, right?
Right.
So when I research all this stuff, I don't find any transparency. What I find is a lot of espionage, kind of spying. Let's say more driven to spying, right? That's the motivation when you look at all of these Wall Street companies, because it's all about promoting their product, and their product is promoted based on surveillance. Put your satellite up, get instant review of your land, instant monitoring of any traffic over your land. This is what these companies promote in the Wall Street, right? On the stock exchange, right? So if you go look at the services they're offered, they have these drones, but what's the delivery system? How are they getting up there? Are you telling me that this one little particular Wall Street company has rocket capabilities and they're sending rockets up into space? Right? This is what I'm getting at, is that all these Wall Street companies that are promoting all this space stuff, what delivery system are they using? Because there's no I don't see the transparency, right? So it's like I said, another Wall Street speculation scam. It seems like it, because you don't see the delivery. Anyway,
I would like to
getting on
see
with
how
that.
Phil Bell.
Get
Oh, my
on,
bad.
get
I
on
thought
with
you were
that.
done. Go ahead.
I'm almost done here. Sorry. Get on with that. Is the next evolution of that thought, which would be, okay, so they have a computer operated system that has to, let's say, ping the satellite. Well, that system that you're using is modeled after what the satellite's supposed to be doing. So you're supposed to be looking at that data in the program as the actual real data at this out at the doing its operation. The issue here is we know that the models that they use are always preempted in the beginning before the product goes out. So in other words, they build the model first in a computer program to get the model working in the computer program, because it's all theoretics, doesn't cost any money really, except for time and labor for writing the algorithms. Then they have to take that and apply it to reality, right? Because they're taking how many different variables and dependent variables in their example of rocketry, and this is on the premise that it's 20,000 miles above Earth, right? This is what they're claiming these satellites go to. The other ones from Wall Street,
20,000 miles.
some of them are claiming that, and then
There's three orbits. There's three orbits: medium, low, and geostationary, which is 25,000 miles.
Okay.
So there's three levels. So the point is, in one of your shows, you should go look at these Wall Street companies. They're promoting some type of surveillance, which I believe is spying at the end of the day. It's just a pretty word of, it's just another semantical word to describe something that we don't want to tell you that we're doing, but we're going to give you a more malleable word so you don't think anything suspicious. Surveillance is a good word as opposed to spying, right? Right? The connotations are different.
Right.
We're going to surveil the land here for protection, but meanwhile, it's actually we're fucking spying on you using the technology. Anyway, I find it really peculiar in microsatellites for the company, because the only way to really know that the satellite's there is through optics, like visual imagery, right? You can literally, I suppose you could literally have anything in the sky at different height elevations and say that it's, at a certain distance when you can't verify it. But if you have the visuals to look at it, like you have presented, you can clearly see at 250 miles, there's no way clouds would look like that.
Not a chance.
Right? So
Not a chance.
Yeah, there's not a chance. So that's the thing. If you dig deep into it, you'll start to realize that it's just a lot of speculation, and speculation is what fuels the investment. It never pans out, though. That's why it's always speculation, right? They can't say it's guaranteed. They always got to claim it's speculation. But the point is that if you look at on these Wall Streets, go look yourself, you'll see it's all surveillance, and it's all high altitude at edge. But then when you go to search the delivery system, how is it delivered? You'll find there's not a lot of transparency there, and I wonder why that is.
That is very interesting, that angle of things, because obviously I've never looked into that side of things, but I'm looking at this here right now. This is National New Space India Limited, And it's public sector undertaking, aerospace communications. I wonder how many of these little companies there are that are responsible. It says they're responsible for transponder provisioning, satellite launch, spacecraft and subsystems, mission support, ground infrastructure. This is a huge business. I mean, we're thinking NASA $66 million a day. I wonder what the total value of the entire industry is. Any idea?
Trillions of dollars, dude. Come on.
I mean, it's got to be, right?
It's worldwide. It's worldwide. And you're telling me that each tribe doesn't have a special interest in their aerospace? Who's above it? They don't have interest. You're telling me that the Chinese don't have interest who's above them? The Russians don't have interest who's above them? Yeah. Everybody's into the big pot, right? The thing is how do you keep the money train going? Well, you got to play ball, don't you? Yeah, Russians can't say to the U.S. they're fake. They can't. U.S. can't say the Russians fake, or they can't do it. What happens to the space industry now? None of them get to make money in it now because they're outing each other. No, man, it's all big one happy soup pile of shit.
Exactly.
Glorified lipstick on a pig, man. But hey, man, there's still technology that still blows our mind. There's still achievements that, I guess, the pursuit of space has inspired.
Sure. Yeah, they're still making equipment that does something, just maybe not what we're told. Or, I mean, there's like one of the ballers in our Discord. He worked with a university to build one of these, electronic systems and put it in a housing and delivered it to one of these private companies, Rocketdyne, I think it was, for them to go and launch this satellite. And he said he was getting data back from it. So somehow they're doing whatever they're doing with these things, whether it's on balloons or however the hell they're doing it. And they're still providing some kind of service and some kind of technology. But I mean, obviously, when you see stuff like this, it's just like.
Well, wait a second. When
this satellite sends a dish up or sends a satellite up, they don't care as long as their customers get the signal. They don't care how it happens.
Right.
Just as long as they're getting.
So ground wave propagation is normal, and the lower the frequency, the farther the lower frequency travels against ground propagation, right? So if you have other things that you're not telling us, which what CB radio was doing, talking around the whole entire world before satellite, right? Before the concept of satellite, we had CB radio, which is not satellite, but yet we could talk around the world. So I think there's a lot of Arthur C. Clarke wizardry put in place here.
Well, that's the heart of this space thing is the science fiction writers. We went over that. What was it, Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday. Yep.
Well, Arthur C. Clarke was one of the pioneers into the holographic video conferencing. He's big on that investment to the point where I believe he's one of the for the holographic video conference call, just like out of the movies. He wrote about it in his early 30s or something like that, and of course 40 years later it's coming to fruition, right? So there are definitely things that he inspired in the scientific community, but at the end of the day he was just one big wizard.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of that, and you should go and listen to that Thursday show, because I found this interesting clip about Star Wars and what went back in the late 90s. I mean, this is not ancient history here. They were doing it in the 90s. I'm sure they're doing it now. They were definitely doing it back in the 60s during the Cold War. And just like you said, the excuse that we always hear, well, why wouldn't Russia tattle on them? Why Russia wouldn't keep their mouth shut if they knew? Bullshit, man. Russia probably did it first. And then the United States decided, you know what? They're faking
they
this
did.
shit.
There was clear-cut evidence of Russia faking it back then during the space race.
Yeah. So we're not going to rat on them. All these countries have the same needs, just like you're talking about, Data. They have the same, demands for their economies. They have the same economic demands. They're all going to play ball. These guys are all talking to each other. They used to be run by people who were all cousins and fucking uncles and all that shit not too long ago.
And if World War II isn't what they told us what it was, and Russia just watched the world do what they did to Germany for whatever reason very recently, it makes sense that they would be maybe, coerced into going along with this.
Yeah, if you don't play ball, we're gonna come stomp a mud hole in your ass and drop bombs on your country. Like that's how we
So-
do it.
And
You're
we're
not playing
here's-
ball.
We're going to tell
the thing,
whole
gentlemen.
world that you hate basically
Here's
a
the
certain
thing.
group of people and demonize you.
Just like writing new laws, they all have to be tested for new laws to be in place. So for new taxes to be in place, you need new reasons to tax, right? Once you get that tax train going and other governments see how you can tax the population for that particular, taxable idea, and then you're in a race to compete with taxes and GDP and all those things, you're going to be right in line to use the same tactics.
Yeah, hey, Gordzilla 37 had a good comment. Somebody said Russia watched during World War II. I think it was you, Bob. What are you talking about? What do you mean when Russia watched?
Think about
They watched
what
He's right.
happened shortly after World War II. All these countries signed an agreement that they have kept to this day concerning Antarctica and what can and cannot take place in and around there. Okay? That's ridiculous. That's absurd that they signed this that long ago and it is held this entire time. Now, if you look at what happened in World War II, if you look at what we're told versus other details, it's not necessarily the thing that we were told it was. If it was something else entirely, and Russia knew that, and they know why on board with the plan. And very shortly after that, if America, the ones who helped, win World War II, quote unquote, if they're like, oh yeah, we're going to the moon, do you think Russia's going to be ready very shortly after this World War II to stand up to America and be like, no, you didn't go to the moon, and we're going to tell everybody? Well, not if America's got everyone else on board with them already.
They already did, dude. It's the families, man. It was always the families that separated after World War I. World War II was all about the separation of the families and control over the United States.
I'm just saying that if what happened in World War II was actually a punishment to Germany to force them into submission, Russia, it makes sense that Russia would know that that's what it was for in reality, and that would coerce them into cooperation in the future, even with something like going to space, going to the moon.
Well,
Fairness,
possibly.
man.
I mean, we really don't know what happened or the specifics of how it went down. But I mean, I just don't see them they're gonna bust each other out. It's not like USSR was some bastion of hope and freedom and truth. Imagine they come out and say, the U.S. faked the moon landing, and no one's gonna take that seriously outside of maybe Russia. They're going to laugh at them. They're going to be a joke. Say one of these little countries popped up and said, can you imagine? Say the Denmark comes out and says, the U.S. has been faking its space missions. They would get slaughtered in the press.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We don't need another country to tell anybody, because Don Pennant from NASA said it himself on camera that they don't have the space technology. They destroyed it, and it's a painful process to build it back again. So you actually don't need a space.
Don Pettit is my favorite astronaut, hands down, by far.
Yeah, well, you just plug it. If there's a hole, you just plug it.
Yeah, dude.
So there you go. You have them tell you right in plain sight exactly what they have and what they're capable of. And then a year later, after maybe a couple years later, actually, mind you, that Don Pettit says it. What does China do? China releases news and footage of landing on the dark side of the moon. Was that prior to or just after Israel crashing India crashing and Israel losing their probes to the moon? I think that's the stories behind either one. And out of all of this, China is the one that's successful landing on dark side of the moon with footage. So that's what we're presented with. We're presented with the United States, Don Pennant, telling us they don't have the moon technology. But then you have China landing on the dark side of the moon while India and Israel can't.
Yeah, pretty interesting, right?
It's just a stage show, right? It's like, okay, why are they trying to promote China achievements now? What's the purpose of promoting their successes? Like I think Xi Jinping or whatever came out yesterday, and he said that he's trying to pull the unity card in a sense where we need to all come together. So it's coming from him and implying that there is going to be a commonality we all share. Therefore, we all share. We're all as one, implying, obviously the one world.
Let's all join hands with the one world government as we usher in our own slavery. Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, when you see kids, including adults, being convinced to march for more taxes and less freedoms, and you've never looked at it that way until you actually stood back and separated from left and right, and you said, "Wait a second, marching for more taxes and less freedoms is never good." So how did you convince these people to do it? Because it's fucking genius.
Wayne Gacy, the clown killer, he actually. That's what they've done to us. They've done this trick where we want the handcuffs put on us.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
I know
because they have spent so long and so much money and so much resources studying psychology, how the human brain works, how to influence people, how to brainwash people. They spent a lot of time and money looking into that shit. They know what they're doing.
Munchausen syndrome. You should do an episode on Munchausen syndrome, because everybody wearing a mask is suffering from Munchausen syndrome, I think.
Oh, that's weird.
I think they are.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have to.
Well, you don't understand your human body.
I have to wear one to get into my job or a grocery store. So.
Yeah, because everybody's worried that they're sick or going to get sick.
I don't have Munchausen.
That's thinking that look. You're actually thinking that the human being is a part of, as a disease, or that they're sick. They're not. They never were. And asymptomatic is another semantical term for healthy person.
No, most of the people are wearing masks because they have to get in place. Like I can't go to work without the mask.
You keep saying that though. I get it. You keep saying that though, but it will never change, because you know what you'll never do? You'll never take any of these people to court personally because right now. They're going against the Constitution. There is no science behind the public health orders. Nothing that says a healthy person has to wear a mask because they're a weaponized individual. There's nothing in the literature that says that, dude. So what you're doing is you're being compliant and overriding your own constitutional order because you think you need to feed your family. Here's the thing: you've never tried to contain your job while wearing a mask, using your constitutional freedom to do so. I can assure you, if you went through it and you got fired for not wearing a mask because there's no science behind it, you'd be compensated. But here's the thing: are you willing to go through?
Because I need the money. The reality is, I need the money to feed my family. So no, I'm not going to do that. And I don't have Munchausen.
So guess
what? Munchausen syndrome.
Yes, you do.
And I don't have Munchausen syndrome.
It's not going to come out until later on. It's not going to come out until later on, dude, because it's a psychological breaking down.
What you're talking about right now?
You're going to be convinced to think you're sick, dude. You're going to be convinced to think other people are sick. Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
That's why you're wearing a mask. Yep. That's why everybody's wearing a mask.
What I'm going to do? What are you?
Because here's the thing: the cloth masks never did anything to begin with. Nothing.
Are you aware that there are other reasons in the world to wear masks, and that mask wearing didn't start with COVID? There are other legitimate.
So are you telling me that a cloth mask has a benefit? Is that what you're convincing? Are we going to get into category of masks? Are we going to get into category masks? 90% of the population I see walking around wear a mask that's useless against any virus or any cold.
But
they're actually being convinced. They're actually being convinced through public health orders. They're actually being convinced through public health orders, which are not backed in science at all, that they are carrying a disease that could be spread.
Yeah, but what if
that's thinking that you're fucking sick, dude. That's thinking that you're actual sick. And over a period of time, as they come up with different variants, out with different variants, you're going to be eventually convinced that people are carrying diseases and are sick. They tried it with AIDS, and they were successful for some youth. Okay, they implemented AIDS to reduce the youth from having sex. Right? They somehow got rid of syphilis. Right? They cured syphilis, but now syphilis is coming back. Give me a break, man. The medical institute is not magical. It's hard. It may be a thick read, reading all the bullshit terminology, but it's not some magical.
Work with harmful chemicals shouldn't wear a mask either. Do you think it does nothing to help
So there you go. So let's talk about how now you're going to use
Bob,
that
your
straw
mic's
man
a little
argument,
low.
which is not.
See if you can get closer or something so we can hear. I got you turned all the way up.
Oh, I don't know. Is that
So now
better?
we're going to talk.
That's a little
We're
better.
going to talk about mask differences. Yeah, masks do change the effectiveness depending on the mask, but 90% of the people that I see wear cloth masks, which are
You're not
useless.
addressing what I'm saying,
So-
and I don't know why you're avoiding it. I'm asking
He's
you
full of
about
shit, bro.
specifically anything, literally any other reason to wear a mask other than diseases. Do
A
you
cloth
think there's
mask?
any other reason to wear a mask?
A cloth
Or do you
mask?
just deny that there's
A cloth
anything else in
mask.
the world someone could wear a mask for?
There is no purpose to wearing a cloth mask when you're outside in public with a whole bunch of people. There's no
any
point of
other
wearing
kind
a
of
mask.
Do you think there's? Do you think?
Okay,
that
now are we
masks
talking
can,
about
like,
other masks, or are we talking about the cloth masks?
Data,
What do you want to do
Data,
here?
you got to give
I'm
Bob a
talking
chance
about-
to respond, man. You keep stepping on. You got to. At
So
least
he
let him
wants to
respond.
talk about masks, but what are we talking about? We're talking about cloth masks.
Yeah.
We're not talking about what kind of
Listen,
mask.
Listen to
Are
me.
we talking
Let me
about kind of
clarify.
masks?
I'm saying
Clarify
any
it.
kind
Go
of
ahead.
mask
Shut the
that,
fuck
that
up
you
and
would
let him
wear
respond.
for any
Jesus
purpose
Christ.
other than COVID or any other disease.
Okay, again,
not
what are we
anything at
talking
all.
about here? We're talking
Oh,
about
shit.
Munchausen syndrome. We're talking about being convinced that you're sick or other people are sick or you have some type of symptom of it.
Bro,
The
nobody's
cloth
got
masks-
Munchausen syndrome from this. I have
The
to wear a
cloth-
mask to
the
go buy
cloth-
food for
Data,
my
The
family.
cloth
listen.
masks
Dude,
don't
you're dead
do
wrong.
anything.
No one has Munchausen
Data.
syndrome.
What I'm trying
You're
to
just
do is
stupid when you
establish a
say that
baseline
shit.
so I can make a
Uh-huh.
point with you.
Yeah.
You're just dumb when you say that
Uh-huh.
But it
Munchausen
seems
syndrome.
like
Do
you're
you even know what
refusing
that
to
is?
even accept
Uh-huh. Yeah,
that masks
you think you're sick,
do
dude.
anything other than fight COVID.
don't.
You've
I
been
have to wear a
convinced
mask
that
to go
cloth
to the
masks do
store.
something.
Bro,
You've been
fucking dumb.
you've been actually convinced that other people are
Stupid.
sick,
What the
carrying
fuck are you
diseases,
talking
and that they
about,
should wear
Data?
masks.
Data,
Okay.
what the fuck are you
You're-
talking
Ray,
about?
can
Who's
you
been
mute him
convinced?
for just a few minutes?
You're
Anybody
fucking
who's wearing a
stupid,
mask.
bro.
No, man.
Anybody who's
Are
wearing a
you
mask.
listening
Yep.
to what these
Okay.
guys are saying?
Can
Just
I-
listen to them.
Can you?
This is what he said.
mute
I
him
have
for a
to
minute
wear
or
it for
something
work
so
because
I
I
can
have to feed
explain
my
what I'm
family.
trying
That's
to
the one
say?
response.
Yes,
The
I don't
second
think I'm
response
sick.
was the second response
think I'm-
was the second response was Bobby there was saying, well, don't you think other masks may help? Maybe there's another purpose. Yeah, we're not talking about other masks and whether there's a purpose for them. We're talking about cloth masks and being convinced you're sick, which is Munchausen syndrome. Convinced or you have a disease or something's wrong with you.
Okay.
So
Bro,
the
ain't
point
nobody
is if
convinced
we
that
all
I
if
have
you
it,
all
and nobody
realized
gets
if you all realize that those are the ones implementing the rules.
It's going to be one of the times you monologue for
If
5
you
minutes.
realize that all those people implementing the rules were actually the sick ones, that you wouldn't wear a mask. You just wouldn't be able to do it, dude. You just wouldn't be able to do it
Okay.
because you realize it's redundant to wear a cloth mask. Now, is it, Bobby, redundant to wear a respirator that filters out maybe, I don't know, xylene? Yeah, it's probably good to wear some kind of respirator that filters out xylene. The point is, we're not dealing with xylene. We're supposed to be
Okay.
dealing with a deadly virus, and they're telling you to wear a
So you
fucking
admit
mask.
that there is
The
another
end of the
reason to wear
day,
You
masks?
dude,
gotta let him
my
respond.
argument-
Data, let Bob respond now. Please don't
People are-
monologue.
yeah.
Please
Bro.
don't monologue. Go ahead, Data. Bob.
So, Data, you admit that there is another reason other than COVID, other than disease in general, to wear a mask. There are other reasons.
Are we discussing other reasons, Bob? Or are we discussing what most of the population is doing wearing a cloth mask? What are we discussing here?
Right now, we're discussing other reasons because that's what I'm trying to establish. with
No,
you, is that
that doesn't do anything to the human being, but you've been convinced to
reason
do
we
it
have to
because you
include other
don't know
reasons
health, you
because
don't
of
know
you.
science, you don't know any of the reports, nothing.
No,
You just
I've
do it
been
because you've been told
mandated.
to.
I've been mandated to do
He
it
will
because
not
we
let
can't
someone
go
else
into.
talk.
Then
We've been
ask
mandated
your
to do it
person.
because
Then
we
ask
can't-
the person who's mandated it to show you scientifically where the order's in place, where it proves their stance. If not,
Right, and
they
in the
are infringing
meantime-
on.
in the meantime,
Listen,
I can't
they are
go-
discriminating.
Oh,
They're
my goodness.
Your mic's low too,
legally,
Jeremy.
they're
What's up?
legally
Your
they're
mic's really low,
discriminating
too. I got
against
all the way
you,
up.
and it's a human rights violation. So if you can't go
Right,
to
I'll
a
be right
grocery
back.
store because somebody's forcing you to wear a mask,
Do you care
you
what
th-
these
you think
guys are
it's-
saying? Do you care what their point of view is at
No.
all, Data, or do you just not care?
so
He
their
just
point
likes
of
to hear
view,
himself
I'm
talk.
clear.
Say something, but
I'm clear on their point of view.
I'm
I'm
not
clear on their
establishing
point of view.
Are
Try
you?
to get a point of
Establishing
view
that there's a
here right
problem.
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. Would you like me to repeat their position again and see if they
No,
see if they
I'd
can
like
repeat
that.
mine?
I'd like them to have a little time at the mic to state it themselves, and respond to
So
you.
can they,
Is my mic
can
good?
either one
Yeah,
of
it's
them?
better.
Can either one of them?
Okay,
either
can I
one of
make a
them
point, please?
repeat
If you
my
will ever
position
stop
then?
talking for 5 seconds, Jesus
Can any
Christ,
one
man.
of them
Yeah,
repeat
we
my
will. Shut up.
position? Can
We
you
will
repeat
if
my
you shut
position
up.
then?
If you
I
ever
can.
shut up, we will.
I can-
Okay, so
repeat
one
the
of you
position you
repeat my
claim.
All
position. That
right,
would be great.
apparently not.
One of
Okay.
you repeat my
Is I
position.
have
Position that you-
Munchausen's.
The position that you just took several minutes ago was Jeremy has Munchausen syndrome. That's what your position was.
Would you like me to clarify my position? Because that's incorrect.
That's
You
exactly
said
what you
everyone
said.
wearing
So
the
yes,
mask
if
has
that is not what
Munchausen
you
syndrome.
meant, then yes, I would like you to clarify because you just
So,
accused him of something
anybody-
and provided nothing legitimate to back it up with.
Anybody who has not done the research and is convinced to wear a mask because they believe they've been mandated, because they've been told to, do not understand what's going on. The whole point is, and why
Sure.
none of, let me
Yeah,
finish, don't
absolutely.
interrupt, don't interrupt. None of
Don't
these,
interrupt.
none of these
Like
charges
you?
have actually,
For the last
listen guys,
half hour?
listen please. Most of the charges that have gone through or fines have not, in Canada, speaking Canada here, have not gone to the court systems. They've been thrown out. We're talking like 80-90% have been thrown out. Okay, that means people showing up to work not wearing masks, people going to grocery stores not wearing masks. Anything that's ever faced with a fine or a judgment have been thrown out, including myself. I'm a personal example of it. Okay.
Okay, so I don't have.
I didn't even show up to court.
So I don't
didn't
have
show up to court because I didn't have to because I got thrown out. So
Right.
let me finish. You've been convinced, sir, and I'm sorry, it's bad news. I'm the bad bear. I'm the bad messenger here, evil dude. But you've been convinced because you are not willing to test your law. You're not willing to test your sovereignty as a person and go against the system. Your compliance is your silence. I'm not compliant. I don't agree, and I've won. And I'm telling you, most of the stuff
I'm
in
not
court has
compliant
gotten
either.
thrown out.
All
So
right.
if you just say no,
Let the
you were
other-
Well, can
standing
I
up for
ever
your
fucking
individual
respond?
sovereignty.
Data,
Dude,
you're
can I
monologuing
ever
say-
respond, or are
if
you
you
gonna
say
monologue
no-
on for the rest of the show? Is
If
that
you
what's
say
going
no-
on?
Hey, let Jeremy make a point real quick, y'all, because we
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
I'm about to finish. If you say no, you stand up to your sovereignty, and you actually say no based on science. Now, Bobby, with you, masks are useful around harsh chemicals that are damaging to respiratory systems 100%. So if they're telling us,
Awesome.
Point real quick. No,
Bobby,
Bob.
if we're around a deadly
He'll never
virus,
shut
then
up.
everybody,
It's pointless.
All
we
right.
should be wearing a respirator that would block out a 0.0003 micron
We got you, Data.
size virus.
We got
Thank you.
Data. Thank you very much. Does anybody want to respond?
Yes, I'd like to respond.
Yeah, like,
Now he was sitting here claiming that I had Munchausen. He was sitting here claiming I had Munchausen's because I wore a mask, which he quickly started to backpedal on, realizing he made a grave mistake. But you know, I have no choice but to wear the mask. You said I could fight the system. Sure, I could. And in the meantime, I can't walk into a grocery store to even buy groceries if I don't have the mask on. So how am I going to feed my family in that meantime while I'm fighting the system? What would you suggest?
Again. So, Brandon, going back to what you said earlier, do you think they're listening to what I'm saying? You asked me the same question. So, again, in Canada, now I can't speak with the United
No,
States,
you don't have to
but
go through it again, Data. Let me
most of the
summarize.
fines, let me
summarize
listen.
for you. What your position is, Data, is that they should stand up for themselves and push back, and then eventually it will work out in their favor because they have sovereignty and they will win in the courts with science, right?
And in the meantime,
There
I can't feed
is
my
no
family.
science. There is no science that backs up the clause. Do anything that they say. Okay, number one. Any of the literature that you read, the literature says may prevent, may stop, but in fact, all the studies come back. Most people who wear it end up getting COVID. The reality is the 1% infection rate with kids. It doesn't affect kids. The flu is still more dangerous than COVID. This is statistics. This is just going right off CDC shit. Not making this
yeah,
up.
WHO shit too. That the people
So-
who wore the mask are more likely to get COVID. But
So
yeah,
all
I
I'm
agree.
saying,
I gotta concede with Jeremy's point because he's got to support his family and all that, but he needs support. But yeah, I guess it's got to start somewhere though. So I see what you're saying too. But
Can I clarify something?
Yes, but I can't go into a store to even buy the food. I will get tackled by security guards and arrested.
really?
yeah, and the best
Fight
part
the
about
system
it,
if I
the
can't
best
feed
part
my
is
family.
if you say that, I know you're full of shit. Because at the end of the day, if you are asked to leave and you don't leave, you'll be tackled. But if you leave, you're fine. But I'm telling you right now,
But then how am I going to get the
if you
food if I
don't,
leave?
if you don't stand up, your kids will be forced to do it. They will bring in
How am I
different
gonna get the
variants for the
food if
rest
I
of your
leave?
life.
You gotta go.
They're going to
hide.
get different variants.
How am
they're
I going
gonna
to get
throw it
the
out, you
food if
get-
I leave, Data?
So guess best part is lots of food around. Don't you worry, buddy. Lots of ways to get
Data,
food in
but how do I
2021.
get it if I can't go in a store without getting
Can I-
tackled or
So
just
you
leave it?
can. You're just not willing to go to the extra length to discover your limits, in which you're just being compliant when there's no data to back it up, dude. Nothing. And then what you're doing is you're imposing fear by saying bodyguards. No, dude. If you walk into a situation where you're asked to leave, you don't leave. Yeah, you'll be tackled. If you leave, you're fine. The point is,
With
is
no
eventually
food.
people.
I'm not
Eventually
fine because I have no food to put on my
Listen,
I have no
and don't
food
freak
to put
out.
on the table
Yeah,
for
yeah,
my family.
yeah. No food, I'm sure. Listen, buddy. If you continue on down this path, if you don't understand the science, you don't understand it's complete bullshit.
Data, you're not hearing what he's saying, man. He's saying.
Do you know how many opportunities there is to get food in
Okay,
2021? There's lots.
Data. Please.
Bro, I can't even go to my job without earning the money to buy the food without the mask.
So again, you can.
That's step one right there. I got to get the money to buy the food.
No, again,
I can't get the money to buy the food without the mask.
You say that to yourself to be compliant because you think that you're desperate. Listen, there's many people who get jobs. Maybe you just like the job.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Maybe you just like the job and you like the compliance. Maybe that's fine for you because you just see that as the best result. I'm telling you, it's not the best result.
Jeremy,
You can't.
Florida, man.
Okay, hold on
exactly.
a second, Data. How did you buy your groceries this week, dude? Are you in Canada?
Yeah. So
How did you
for
buy
me,
your groceries this week, Data?
So for me, I can order it with an app and I just pick it up in my car. So for me to be non-compliant, I could do the. Yeah. So
yeah,
for me
that
not
works.
to be.
But you need
So
money
listen.
to get the food, right? You need money to get
Again.
the food.
Well, how did you
Again.
get? Yeah, how did you get your money? What without doxing yourself? How did you earn your pay without wearing a mask in Canada? I want to hear this.
Well, there's many ways to make money. What do you guys do for a living?
Unless you're
depends what
home,
you do.
unless you work at
So-
home, you can't judge Jeremy, dude. You're
That's
work in a place that requires a mask.
That's not true at all, dude. So
Why? I bet you
at
earn
the
your
end of the
money at
day-
home, sitting on your ass, not having to do what Jeremy has to do.
Again,
that you're telling
that's not
Jeremy to
true.
do. Am I right
That's
or
not
wrong?
true at all. No,
So
not one,
you're
not one
telling
bit
me
of
you
truth.
work at a place which requires you to wear a mask, but you don't wear a mask and somehow you
here's
get
how
away
I-
with it?
Here's
Is
how
that
I
what you're
approach
saying,
it.
Data?
Here's how I approach it. I'll tell you how I deal with it. Before I have any interaction in my profession, for my job, I say to my client, listen. I say to my client, listen, I don't wear masks. Is that okay with you? My client either says yes or no. That's it. If I
Yeah,
go to
because you're
work
the
on
boss,
Let me
right?
finish.
Now, let's say
I'm
you were not the
I'm-
boss, and your boss
I'm
told you, listen, dude, in order
self-contracted,
for you
buddy.
to
I'm
earn your money, to
self-contracted.
put food on the
I'm
table, you have to wear a mask.
self-contracted.
What would you do, Data? You're being a hypocrite,
Again,
bro.
listen, you're not listening. I'm self-contracted. I can go paint a house if I want. And when I get a contract, I say to the client, I say, I cannot wear a mask. Does that bother you? That's what I clarify my position. I hold my sovereignty to it. It's up to
And
the
if they
client to
all
say,
told
"Let
you,
me
yes, it
finish.
bothers me, by
Let me
law, you
finish."
have to wear this mask, what would you do, Dada?
by law, I don't have to wear a mask in BC. It's against BC Health Act, dude. I don't have to be forced to wear
You're
anything here
being
under the
too quick to judge there, Bubba.
Listen,
You're being
you're
too
not
quick
listening.
to judge.
You're not listening. Everybody here in this panel should be against masks 100%. It should never be compliant. The fact that you got this is my trick.
Godzilla 37, thanks you, brother. I'll put that in the jar right here for the bandwidth. I'm gonna get that sorted out. I apologize, guys. I didn't realize it was that bad that often. Sorry about that.
Not understanding
for
this, bro.
government?
You're just yapping.
I'm not
Listen to some
understanding it.
people.
What am I
Can
not
I
understanding? That's not an
clarify
argument,
something,
SE.
guys?
What am I not understanding?
We are against
No,
them, man,
SE
but we
says I'm not understanding. What am I
we
understanding?
understand the situation some people are in.
No, you
bro.
don't. No, you don't. Listen, I was homeless as a kid, so I know
Hey,
what
you
it's
don't.
like.
You understand
Listen,
Jeremy's position better than Jeremy. Come on,
I know
Dada,
I
man.
know I was homeless as a kid. I was kicked out at a really young age. I don't have a lot of sympathy for people who complain about shit. Okay, that's just a fact because I had a hard upbringing, dude.
Sound check.
Dude, I went into Walmart the other day, and the lady who's the door greeter, she's like, "Do you need a mask?" I'm like, "No," and I put both my headphones in, and she kind of got in my way, and she's like, "Sir," and I just ignored her, kept walking, and she's like, "Stop him!" To the guy, there's two guys in front of me, and one of them got like kind of in my way. He's like, "Sir, do you need one?" And I'm like, "No," and I just kept walking, and she just looked at them, and they didn't say nothing. So there's like about 10%, maybe about 5% of the people not wearing them, but they didn't. That's the only time I go in there a couple times a week. But
listen, they can't sue you. They cannot sue you for not wearing a mask. It's asinine. The law never sticks in court. They can't force anybody to wear
They
a mask.
can kick you out of the
And they
store, though.
cannot- Sure.
They
Good, buddy.
can
Go to
kick
another
you
one.
out of the store.
Go to another one then.
Go to where somebody wants your money. Stop buying the big chain. At the end of the day,
I mean,
I avoid.
most,
Listen,
if not
in the
every
convenience
time,
world
it
of
seems like the
2021,
money's going to win out.
I avoid the confrontation because I do not wear masks. That's why I make it very clear whoever I engage when I don't participate in it. And if it offends you, I'm sorry, I don't.
Man, but it is a choice, but there is some drastic consequences for some of them, man.
Yeah, he's a choice. He tells other people to rah to fight the system. But what does he do? He orders from his house. He orders from the phone. He doesn't go out, and he gets it delivered.
Because I avoid
shame
it
on
now.
you, bro. Shame
I
on you.
avoid it now. I avoid it now. But when I'm out in public or I have a client or do anything, I say straight up, I don't wear masks. Does that offend you? I'm sorry, I can't do it. So, for instance, if I have to go to the bank, I say I don't wear a mask. So what they do is they let me into the bank, all just to me. If that's what they want to fucking do and be retarded, go ahead. But I'm not conforming to them. And under the BC Health Act, I don't have to wear one. It's not good for me. Okay? So why you say you're forced to do it, I'm sorry that you're forced to do it. I'm sorry that you think you're forced to do it. You don't. You just don't want to go through the troubles. And trust me, I've already been arrested. The troubles suck. Okay? Going door to door.
The thing is, I don't.
You took offense to it because if you are
because you said anyone else.
Dude, if you're convinced people are sick and carrying disease and you are perhaps too, and that's why you need to wear a mask because you're trying to save a fucking 90-year-old
He
grandma.
never said that he was,
Give me
dude.
a break.
He never said that he was. You
save a
just
90-year-old
assumed
grandma
that
by wearing a
apparently for
mask.
no good reason.
You'll never. The virtual signaling thing is beyond nauseating. I'm sorry, old people die.
Nobody was virtual. You're making things up. You are literally coming up with things in your head for pretend and then spewing them out of your mouth as if they're real. Do you understand that? No one made those claims.
Do I understand you don't have to wear it? No, you have to go through it. There's always going to be a transition.
What are you even talking about
Guys,
right now?
Let's close this subject out. Let's do final thoughts on this subject, and everybody just take 30 seconds or a minute, give their final thoughts.
Let me go first. I want to clarify something. I am in no way encouraging people to wear masks for COVID. If that is the only reason you're wearing a mask, knock it off. That's stupid. Okay? There's no good reason to be wearing a mask for COVID specifically. And I wasn't arguing that. I wanted to clarify the point that there are masks designed for purposes other than COVID that somebody could be wearing the mask for, and there's nothing wrong with that, and it has nothing to do with Munchausen. They could be wearing it because cigarette
so are you
smoke
just saying?
bothers
Are you
them.
saying
I wear
a
a
painter
mask
wearing a
sometimes
mask?
because I'm avoiding cigarette smoke. There's nothing wrong with that.
A painter wearing a respiratory
All
is
right,
okay.
Data,
it's
this
okay.
is your this is your
Yes,
final thoughts on the
absolutely.
subject. Go
I'm
ahead.
saying a painter wearing a respiratory system is okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
If they are trying to do all these psychological, political, economic restarts or rebuilds, they're going to come with rhetoric, right? That rhetoric is going to try to...
Great.
Guys,
What's an awesome
you're
hot
getting
take?
back into
if people are trying to do bad stuff, then they're doing bad stuff. Congratulations, dude. Like, do you really think there's a point you needed to make?
You guys are getting back into the back and forth. Please, I'd appreciate it if we just moved on with the final thoughts.
I wasn't trying to make the argument that people should wear masks. I wasn't making that argument at all. People should wear masks for other reasons if there are legitimate reasons that are going to help them be healthier or avoid things, okay? I don't think that's the case at all with the COVID masks. I think the entire thing is a big fat, nothing burger that they are trying to pile on people and force them to fear things that they don't need to fear and get them to act in ways that they want them to act. That's what I think, okay? But I don't think there's anything wrong with somebody wearing a mask for a specific purpose that has nothing to do with disease. They just want to avoid other harmful things that happen to be in the air sometimes.
All right, thanks, Bob. Who wants to go next?
So do I get to finish then? Listen, man, if you want to wear a mask, go wear a mask, but wear it for at least understand why you're wearing it. If you I'm not an anti-masker where I look at somebody, don't wear a mask. Feel free to wear a mask. But if you're actually wearing a mask because you think you have to, well then I think that's a terrible way to live. I mean,
I wear a mask
unless you're working with chemicals. That's it. Sorry, I'm done.
All right, thanks, Dave.
I wear a mask because I can't get into my work without it. I can't get in the convenience store without it. I can't get in the supermarket without it. That's why you have to wear masks here. Otherwise, they tackle you and make you leave.
Damn, they get you the convenience stores there? What state are you in, Jeremy?
New York.
Can I have a final say on my final thoughts on this?
Yeah, go ahead.
It ain't too bad around here, man.
Well, what Data is saying is fine in a utopian world, right? Some people have the luxury to do that, but some people with families cannot do what you're saying. They cannot take days off, get arrested while their family needs to be fed. It's easy to be self-employed and give your customers a choice and this and that. But in the real world, people that are working, they can't do that. You have to understand that, dude.
That is the real world.
I gotta agree with SC on that, man.
That is
I
the
gotta
real
agree with
world,
SC,
dude.
But, hey, he said it's easy to get to own your own business and all that. It's not really easy, but it really is easy to start. And I recommend anybody on this panel just find something that's in demand where in your area. You know, call around and see how hard it is to get estimates in certain things. You know, you don't even have to know how to do anything.
So this is what you're saying.
Listen, you can open a fencing business.
This is what Jeremy's saying, though.
Just hire somebody who can.
This is what Jeremy's saying.
All right, we're not going to get back into it. I don't want to go back into
I know,
back
but
and
this is
forth.
what he-
No,
this
it's
is what
good.
he's saying,
It's
though.
good. Thank you very much, Data. So
Good
I'm
luck
going to
with
say
your
I'm going to
vaccines
say
when you
my
have to
final
take your
thoughts. So
vaccines
here's
to go
my
to work.
final thoughts. Is
Vaccines go to work,
I
yeah.
understand where you're coming from, Data, in saying that people need to stand up because I say that myself, and I think that we have to push back on things that are being forced on us, or we're going to keep getting things forced on us. At the same time, I do understand Jeremy is one man. He has mouths to feed at home. It's very, very difficult to put yourself in that situation for just an average Joe guy. No offense, Jeremy. I think we're all average Joes. And that's coming from someone who has done it himself and walked away from a job because I didn't agree with what I was doing. It was very stressful, and I was alone. Let me tell you, there was nobody sitting there to cut me a check and say, here, we're going to take care of you because you did the right thing. In fact, the one person I talked to after that who gave me any advice told me all the money is on the bad side. There's no money on being on the good side. So it's cold out there, and anybody who doesn't want to go out there, I understand.
Sad but true.
And anyone coming to this conversation with the idea that it is literally one layer and that's it, yeah, I mean you're not here for a good conversation. You're basically pushing your ideology or whatever. There's more than one layer. There's other things to consider.
Yeah. Okay.
You literally can't go into a doctor's office. You can't go in anywhere in here without putting the mask on. I couldn't go into a doctor's office and see my dentist or anything without the mask. Like, what am I going to do? Fight it while my tooth hurts? Like, what?
Let me explain the severity to these people. Some of them that live in places where they don't have to. Where I live here in Montreal, I've been shopping at a local corner shop here for like 10, 15 years. I walked in the other day, forgot about the mask, and he wouldn't let me buy anything.
Yeah, it's
So he
different.
panicked. He started freaking out.
It's different in different places for sure. We did get a super chat from Aaron Armstrong who says real men just wear a mask. So you can agree with that.
Well, that's
or
not true.
Thanks for the
Believe
super
me,
chat.
I don't.
I'm responsible though, man. Like,
Real men don't just wear a mask for no good reason. Criminals do that.
I'll
Maybe.
go wash my hands. I'm not gonna get snot on shit. Now I'm responsible. I know old people are getting sick from flu or whatever. You know, so I mind my hygiene and shit when I go places. You know, wash my hands before I touch things. I mean, but yeah, if I don't have to wear a mask, I'm not gonna. I've only had to once, luckily, knock on wood. But I could sympathize with Jeremy, man. I mean, I see what Data's saying. It is a choice, but man, it's you're talking. You know, it ain't just him.
It's not a choice,
depending on him.
dude. It's not a choice. I can't go to the doctor's office or the dentist or anywhere without the mask.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I understand that.
Jeremy, he's talking about civil
Well,
disobedience,
it's a shitty
bro.
choice, right?
Yeah, it's a
I
losing
understand.
choice.
I understand.
Can you imagine Aaron
I'm not
Armstrong
down.
being a slave? Real men just do the work that they're assigned. Really?
Real men don't complain about the maggots in their gruel.
Yeah.
So
I don't like
I
being
don't see
told.
anybody sick, man. To be honest, bro, I'm still yet to see anybody die.
I mean, I don't like being told I got Munchausen's disease because I'm wearing this fucking mask. That's all.
No, that's absurd. That to come to that conclusion from one point one piece of information that you've given them about your whole life for them to just suddenly diagnose Munchausen syndrome. It's absurd.
Yeah,
It's just absurd.
that was a
Yeah,
bit
Dana,
much.
that was kind of funny.
Hey, just for the record, guys, here in Montreal, the tickets here are $1,500 per person and $6,000 for the establishment.
Damn, that's steep. All right, let's kind of pivot here. One more time, since Brian has joined the panel, and I see Chad's on too. What's up, Chad?
What's going on?
What's up, man? Brian, were you watching the beginning of the show? Have you seen this video that I put out with the
No.
coffin satellites falling into the clouds?
Oh yeah, I did see it, man. That was great, man.
Well, we just
And,
Yo, I want to know if Phil said it's an optical illusion. I want to know what would cause that optical illusion, because it should look like the satellites are
and
going up.
Besides that, yeah, they're dropping down at free fall speed. They're not going. I mean, at that rate, they're going to be at the ground in a few minutes. I mean, whether they wind up 100 miles down the shot, I mean, but they're going to the ground at the rate that I've seen them fall.
What's the mechanism behind?
They're dropping something like that, and it's free falling. I mean, if you think about, it's getting harder and harder for me to picture the globe and shit up there. Like, it doesn't seem like that'd be even near fast enough. 17,000 miles an hour wouldn't even be fast enough to free fall around in my head. But yeah, that looked like they're free falling, and I think you pointed it out great. And the way that wasn't no optical illusion. That thing was going into the clouds, man. How could you deny that?
Right, exactly. Well, have you seen? Well, you probably didn't notice this, or maybe you did. You're a pretty observant guy, but when these 3 coffin satellites are coming down, I'm sharing it on my screen if you can see. Here, let me make it a little bigger for the audience here.
Yeah, I see it now.
Okay, all right, cool. So you'll notice when all 3 of these things are in view, let me back it up a minute. Okay, here they are. So these things are coming down. You've got the one that's lowest. You can see it right here. If you can see my mouse. And let me slow this down so we can see this in slow speed, and then we'll move on to something else. I don't know if people are bored of this or not, but I find this to be a big deal.
Man. This is where it's at, man.
So watch this.
What we can see.
So here we go. You see the one that I have circled in red is the one on right. That's the one that goes into the clearing and appears to go into the clouds. And then there's this middle one, and there's this closest one. So this furthest one, the one that's furthest down, you see that white on it? See that? See,
yeah,
it looks
is
like
that the one that was dropped first, Brandon?
Yeah, that was the. I don't know if this was the first one. In this shot, it is. Of these 3, it certainly is the first one that was dropped. And then this one was dropped second. This one was dropped third. Well, this first one and this second one have these white things on the top of them, and you know it's part of the satellite because it moves with the satellite. This third one doesn't have that white thing. Do you notice that? Do you see that?
Yeah, we see it. We see it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, now watch, Brian. Watch what happens to this one without the white thing. I'm going to hit play. Boom. See it? You might have to watch it a couple times. I'll play it one more.
Yeah, can you enlarge the screen just a little bit?
Yeah, let me make this full size here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that'll be much easier for everybody to see. All right. So here it is. I backed it up again. The one on the right has the white on it. The one in the middle has the white on it. And this one doesn't have the white, right? Now let me slow. Oh, I sped it up. I didn't slow it down. Duh. That's why it went so fast. I'm like, why does it seem like it's still going so fast? All right. Here, let me hit play now. Get that off the screen. Get off. All right, I'm going to hit play. Now watch the one that doesn't have the white on it. Here it goes. It's falling. Now watch. Boom. You see that? Now it has the white on it. Did you see it come out, Brian?
Yeah, now do it now. Do it now, because you had like 3 screens on there. Play it how you got it right now. Now, one more time.
You see it? You watching on YouTube or are you watching on Discord? Hello? We lose him?
I saw it.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch it on Discord, man, but there's like a few screens up. But I watched it.
Oh, there's a few screens up
on YouTube, but
what?
it's like there's 4 screens.
Hold on. Let me change the
They're
window.
perfect.
Let me change the window. Oh, I see. Okay, here. I'm gonna make it just
Okay,
this
now
one.
you got one circled.
All right, ready?
So you're not talking about the one circled. You're talking about the one to the far left, right?
Right. I'm talking about this one on the far left. All right. No. Watch
Can you circle
this.
the one can you circle the one in contention?
This one right here. Can you see my mouse? It's right in the middle of the screen, Brian.
No.
Right in the middle of the
Yeah,
screen.
I see it. I see it.
All right.
I see it.
Now watch it. Watch it. Doesn't have that white. Now it has that white. And the white expands. Do you see it? I'll play it one more
That's a
time.
balloon, ain't it? That's a balloon deploying, ain't it?
Watch. Here's a closer up image. Watch it. No white. And here it comes.
Boom!
Boom. Right there. What's that, buddy?
I'll be dipped in shit.
Can you believe that shit?
I believe it because, man, it's the only thing that makes sense.
Brian, we just caught him red-handed.
This is very
Freaking
telling.
handed, dude.
Good eye, bro.
No doubt about it, bro. That is either a
Because
parachute
think
or
about
some
it.
kind
The
of balloon.
satellite- Yeah, the satellites they use, they got us claim that they're geostationary, but they call that an orbit. They call going up there and hovering over one place, they call that orbit. Okay, what good would a satellite be doing anybody if it's going set for communication or anything like that? If it's going 20,000 miles an hour, you know, they made the argument that a balloon would be out there moving around. I'm like, moving around? I'm like, what do you think a satellite going 18,000 miles an hour would be doing? And so they call geocentric and orbit. It's all kind of like a trick. We're starting to see through it. That's a good eye, Brandon. Unbelievable, man. That's I'd like to hear. I'd like somebody to join and give their take on that because that's
I sure would too.
What else?
Mic check. What's going on, everyone?
What's up, Matrix? We hear you. So I don't know if you've been listening to Matrix, but did you see this satellite cloud video with the I think it's a parachute. It might be a balloon that's deployed out the back of it. Caught on video.
Yeah, I'm watching it now through your live feed.
Yeah. Pretty interesting stuff. So anyway, so that's enough of that. That's pretty interesting. I think I'll put out a follow-up video talking about the parachute or whatever the hell it is that deploying out of the back of these satellites that are falling into the clouds that are obviously way too close to a vehicle that's supposed to be 350 miles above the surface of the Earth where there are zero clouds. And I think somebody had put in the chat that clouds are up to like, I can't remember what it said, like 10,000 feet or something. I'm sure we could go look at it, but I know clouds get pretty high, but not that high.
The thing is, anytime there's
not clouds, what could they possibly be?
Oh, those are clouds, dude. No doubt about it.
They said they're not clouds. The thing is, behind every illusion, there's a mechanism behind an illusion. We can explain it. So I want to hear the fucking explanation for this illusion of why they appear to be going down.
Absolutely. Let's hear it. Break it out.
You made that shit up.
What's the explanation for the white coming up on the top just all of a sudden?
Right.
I'm afraid. Jeremy. You just don't understand geometry.
Yeah. Good point. I think there was something else from Phil in here that I wanted to bring up because he replied quite a bit. He definitely saw this and put some replies in here. There it is. This is from Phil. Just a reminder. I got this video link from Phil. This is evidently part of what he's worked on. Professor Phil Bell, your incredulity is breathtaking. It's an optical illusion. Have you any idea how expensive it is?
He can't explain anything adequately because it's some kind of top secret bullshit. If it was cut and dry, then he'd give us an explanation. It wouldn't be top secret shit, man. Look, I want to know. Okay, I ain't denying the fact that he's launching rockets and all that, helping in that program.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, man. Is he I want some non-harmful information. Like, are you part of the process that's claiming that you're launching the satellites that are supposedly in orbit, but they're just hovering over one place, or what? Because that can be explained by stationary. I don't know, man. I just think they hide too much, man. It's suspect, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's suspect, all right. Here's the rest of his comment. It's an optical illusion. He said that a couple times now. Have you any idea how expensive it is to get one of those satellites up there? Up where, dude? And how come I can track the satellite for years after launch? That is an interesting point. How come these satellites that are falling towards Earth can be tracked for years? I'd like to know that. You don't have to act like a complete idiot on YouTube. And then this is all in all caps. There are other options. What the hell's that mean?
But he can't answer a simple question, Brandon, the one we asked. We want to know, if they were launched at 350 miles, what mechanism, how are they going to get into their supposed orbital height? Is it LRO? Is it medium? Or is it geostationary? Is that hard for you?
Going on with these, he just knows that what he's told. Who knows what Phil knows? But there might be an audio cut out there. Apologize. I just restarted the server again. Tim A says 100%, 100%, 100% for sideways laughing faces. I feel the same way, Phil, when they deny my work on the ISS. Great point. Okay. It's getting deep now, Blue Marble.
I pointed out one of the pages where it was LTE, their phone, their whole system over South America. They said they had like a couple dozen, I think it was like a dozen or a couple dozen high altitude balloons that they left up for like 3 to 6 months at a time, and it pretty much accompanied their whole system, their whole cellular system for that continent. And it wasn't nothing but if I remember right, a dozen or 2 dozen balloons over the whole continent, and they're up and they have ways to retrieve them, and it's way cheaper than satellites. I mean, think about it. They probably deployed the whole system of balloons for the price of one satellite to cover a whole continent. If they can do it like that, who in their right mind would spend all that money putting satellites up there? But then you look for that ad now, and it's just gone. Surprise! Information we got to suppress from people, and they denied it. Argued on Jose's channel, they just flat out denied it, like it didn't even happen. I had to show them, and for them to even admit. They're laughing at me and all that, for them to even admit, and it stresses them out when I talk about Sataloons. And I pointed out the Google Sataloon program and how it was expanding, where it started way back in 2000, and how by 2012 they had their each station, they had multiple stations. Each station was launching 12 balloons a day, and now that information's hard to find. And but just getting them to even acknowledge these things are. But, as far as rockets and all that, that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of, as far as them satellites, the ones that are in contention. I think what Brandon pointed out is great. That's what we need to be talking about. So, Phil, get your ass in here and let's talk about it.
Somebody else who has a lot to say about this, and I haven't been called an idiot in person by him in a couple of days, so I'll read his comment. The Rumpus. Oh, God. The one time you could have used the Riley criterion properly and you don't. Amazing. That was pretty clever. Let me explain slowly. The satellites are very small, only a foot or so long. And so as they get further away from the camera, their angular size gets smaller due to perspective. Now they're using perspective on us. Until their angular size becomes so small with 4 A's and 6 L's that they merge 4 E's into the background and disappear, as is described by Rayleigh criterion. Can you believe this shit?
Yeah, nice monkey damage control.
And look how in detail he explained the perspective view, but somehow he can't manage to figure that out when we're doing shots over water and stuff. It all seems to be refracted and looming and all that shit.
Yeah, all of a sudden he cares about the Rayleigh criterion and perspective. I love it. Flurfers, here he's going to get on his soapbox. Flurfers just don't seem to be capable of understanding perspective or optics. So when the two issues are combined, there is no chance whatsoever of any understanding at all. And of course, they are willing themselves not to understand anything which may conflict with their delusional, wishful thinking. Wow, that's a piece of work there, Rumpus. Test it for yourself. Try looking at an object a foot or so inside. Now he wants me to go and do a test with a football. Size at a distance of a few hundred meters. Oh, it will merge into the background. All right. Nice try, Rumpus. That was good effort. I like the enthusiasm. All right.
So does the Rumpus admit they are going down, or is he going with the optical illusion thing?
He's going with an optical illusion, although he used many more words than Phil did to say the same thing, essentially. But yeah, he's going with optical illusion.
Oh no! Wait! We got to use the conservation of momentum. So if you drop them and there's no resistance, then they're going to keep up with what dropped them. I mean, I've been told that by them 1,000 times, right?
Yep.
And if they're keeping up, they're moving away from me. So if you're using the Rayleigh criterion of why they're disappearing, but then you're going to use the conservation of momentum. So which is it, man? Which is it? If they're keeping up with me, but they're still getting smaller, so they're going away from me somehow, and it takes an idiot to see they ain't going down. I didn't know that was even in contention. They're saying that they're not going down.
Dude, they managed to convince us that the world is curving, simply based on how our eyes resolves what's in front of us. So that's how they get down. That's how they lie to us.
Like, who would think that's even in contention that they're going down? It's obvious.
Yeah, we watched.
No, man, the thing that they're falling out of is going up.
Oh, that's an interesting twist there, Chad. Did you hear that?
The Earth is accelerating up towards them, guys. Obviously.
I think we have a recording of something very different than what they said was going on. That's my personal opinion.
I thought that orbit was like a free fall path around the Earth. I didn't know that orbit entailed going up in the orbit. You know, I thought they got stabilized in their orbit and then dropped the things. They need to get their story straight, man.
Yeah, I don't think they can, man. Too many contradictions. Does anybody hear that feedback? I think it might be coming from Carlos. What's up, Carlos?
It's me.
What's going on, man?
Nothing. I just want to drop by and tell you, man, that video, you really make yourself look real bad with your satellites in the cloud.
Well, tell me why do I look bad? I'm just relaying what I see in the video.
Fair enough, but you did very little to actually look into it and explain yourself how that is it would be a coffin going into a cloud. So I don't know. I feel like I'm going back to like 2015.
Well, how do they determine their altitude when they're dropping them satellites?
Do what?
Well,
how do they determine their altitude when they're dropping them satellites?
I don't know. I'm not with that specific rocket. I don't know.
Well,
my question is.
Hold on, Carlos.
Go ahead,
because you made a statement there that I'm making myself look silly. What do you see happening in this video?
I see satellites being thrown out.
And where do the satellites go?
I don't know.
You don't know. You watched the video, right?
I guess they go away from the craft, and then eventually, they get put in their orbit. It's supposed orbit.
So we see them go away from the craft. Which direction? What do they go towards? Anything when they're going away from the craft?
Do what?
Do they go towards anything in the video when they go away from the craft?
I don't know. That's that's relative. It looks like it's going away from the craft for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we get it. I don't know.
Yeah, no. But here's the thing. I just, you just went and say, well, it looks like it's going into the cloud. Well, dang it. If they can fake this, why the heck would they show you footage of, let's say, a plane dropping things into the cloud if allegedly they can fake this stuff?
Because I explained it earlier. America is the one that's good at faking space. When it comes to other countries, they fake space like shit, and it's obvious.
Yeah, this is pretty bad, dude.
No, not really. Guys. Here's the thing. Hang on. I'm talking here, Brandon. It's okay to be skeptical. It's okay to say, "Hey, this looked odd to me," but I don't know. I say, you know, you have to try a little harder because did you try to figure out what perhaps the size of those things are, or what velocity they were going away from the point of view? No. All you're saying is looking at video that is compressed, MPEG compression, and somehow it looks like, you know, like it's going into a cloud, just like we see lizard people on videos, supposedly, and you're saying, oh, it looks like it's going into a cloud. Like, hey, it's okay. It's okay to be skeptical. It's okay to say, hey, this looks weird to me, but you know, you could do
lizard people,
a better job explaining.
Can I ask a question?
Wait, hold on. You're going with optical illusion, video compression,
No.
my misunderstanding of physics, my misunderstanding of the size of the objects, and is that it? Or do you have any more you want to pack in here?
You forgot lizard people.
I didn't say misunderstanding, Brandon. I didn't say misunderstanding. I said you didn't make any effort in trying to figure out.
You didn't put it quite that kindly. You said he's making himself look stupid making that video.
No, guys, don't put words in my mouth. Hey, no, Brandon, I have been very don't put words in my mouth. I have been very respectful. I say you didn't make yourself look great with that,
I don't
make yourself look good. I never call you stupid.
I want to ask a question.
Okay, what did I say then? What did I say?
I don't know. We'll have to rewind it. I don't care that much.
In all fairness, they've been preaching to us about the conservation of momentum. Okay, so if there's no resistance, you know, if it's equal resistance, when they just drop them and they're free falling around the planet, then they would obviously keep up, right? They would keep up with the craft that's dropping them. So we know it's been drilled in our head about the conservation of momentum.
If the was at a constant speed or whatever, I don't know. I don't know what the rebuttals that some people have brought you regarding the conservation of momentum or whatever. But yeah, that would be the case.
You don't know the rebuttal against, so you're on the same team as us. You just won't admit it, brother.
Guys,
hey,
okay, whatever.
Hey, Carlos, what are these?
I came here.
I want to ask
an
a
observation
question.
on. Lord have mercy.
I don't know the answer to this question for sure. Okay, for me, but is there any other instance where an object is moving away from you and it is between you and a third object, and that third object is visually larger than both you and the object that's moving, but the thing is not moving away from you and towards it?
I think that's a fair question to ask. Because usually when I see things move away from me, was that for Carlos? Go ahead, Carlos. Excuse me. I'll say
that was for anybody, any baller, anybody. Like if someone's got
let me answer that. Let me answer that real quick and say that yes, that would be the case, especially when the third object is far enough away from you that there's lack of parallax, where you're not going to be able to tell if you're actually moving away from that object towards that object.
I said an instance as an example, something that I can verify with my own eyes.
Okay, an example. You're driving on the highway. There's a huge mountain behind you. Okay. And you see a vehicle.
Wait. No, hold on. Wait, you didn't. It seems like you didn't hear or didn't understand part of my question. I said where the third object is visually larger than both you and the moving object. A mountain way off in the distance is not visually larger than you.
You're
visually larger than both you and the moving object, but it's not moving towards the larger object.
Yeah, I was using a mountain, a big enough mountain at a good enough distance, not too
but
far.
Wait. But your example doesn't count because if it's at a good enough distance, the mountain is not visually larger. It's visually smaller. We're talking about an example where the object is visually larger.
How do you define? How do you know it won't be? You're just making assumptions again, guys.
No. Listen, I think maybe you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. In the video that we just watched on the show, the object is visually larger.
How much larger?
That big planet-looking thing is visually larger than both the perspective of the video and the object that's moving.
Okay.
So do you have any other instance where the third object is visually larger than both the perspective
You're being very vague.
and the moving
I'll try to
object,
give you, I'll try to
and
give
it
you an
isn't
example, but
moving
you're very,
away
very
from
vague.
you and towards
I
the
don't have
larger
time
object.
right now.
Well,
All right, thank you,
can I
Brandon.
restate?
Give me a try. Give me a
Nice,
try
good try,
one time,
Carlos. Tough one to explain away, Carlos. I don't blame you for trying. You packed in 5 or 6 different fallacies and stuff in there. It was a good effort, a very good effort, and I commend your guts on that one, Carlos. Thank you.
I'm about to make it even harder, because listen to this. Okay, so just picture this, okay? So now, what can we think of? Okay, we can't use a plane that's too big. We can't use a bird that ain't fast enough. Okay, so what can we use? Okay, how about a golf ball? Okay, so you hit a golf ball off the tee the professionals do, okay, and it's a tiny little golf ball, and they hit it over 200 miles an hour. Let's just say like between 200 and 300 miles an hour, that golf ball comes launching off the tee, and we could see it the whole time until it lands, in most cases, if it's a clear day. And so just half the time that it took the golf ball to even reach the highest altitude, which we've seen the whole time, this thing that's traveling with the craft that drops it just disappears. So it's disappearing away from, just judging by the size of them things, they're probably about 20 times bigger than a golf ball, okay? So they got to be moving, way, way faster. So they got to be separating away from that craft. If that one's not going in the clouds, it hasn't shrunk in angular size. We still see the full size of it. We use that argument when we're talking about the angular compression at the horizon for the bottom up and things.
Yeah,
But,
we see it before it goes under the cloud. You're right, and it doesn't. We see it under the cloud.
It doesn't shrink to a dot. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't shrink to a dot. Okay, so they're stuck like Chuck, man.
Hey, look at this.
Don't think
I didn't realize I had a better close up in it. You can see the separation between the white and the actual satellite part. If I play this, watch this, and then Jeremy, you can go. Do you see how it's separated? You can see a little bit of movement between the two. It's probably pretty small on that screen. Let me make it bigger.
Dude,
do you see how it's separated?
Like we can show them.
Watch this one come out, and it's going to be separate. You're going to notice the separation between the satellite and the parachute or the balloon, whatever the hell it is. See it? It's offset a little bit. It looks exactly like a parachute, dude.
Does anyone else think that I was being vague with my question?
No. And look at this. It just disappeared into the cloud. You see that? It's in the fucking cloud. It just disappeared. It just went into a cloud. There it is.
Do you have one where it gets disappeared by the cloud and then reappears, or no?
Yes. What? Right there.
That'd
Watch.
be something
It's
hard.
right here. Watch it right here. Here it is.
I can't.
Now it goes behind the cloud.
I'm at work with my mask.
And then you can see it again briefly, and then it disappears completely. It's clearly going into the cloud. That one's better, though. The middle one's better. I didn't notice that one before. This one right here. It's partially blocked by the cloud. Now you see it. Now it goes back underneath this cloud. It's in the fucking clouds.
So that destroys the notion.
Down to a dot. Go ahead, Jeremy. Sorry.
So that destroys the notion that it's not going into the clouds, since we can see it being hidden by the clouds and then reappearing.
Yeah.
For momentarily under the clouds. Also, don't things fall at 9.8 meters per second in a vacuum? And they're in a vacuum?
Yeah, and 9.8 meters per second, right?
Yeah, squared. Yeah, and they're in the vacuum. So why aren't they falling?
Why? Oh.
They should be falling. Things fall in a vacuum at 9.8 meters per second. They're in a vacuum.
Well, that's what I've never understood. No, because it's going so fast. It's in orbit. Remember, it's going so fast.
So it's
going too fast. It's falling continuously, and it's just missing the Earth constantly.
The point is, you got to
free fall, man. Like we should be able to free fall and do a skydive and have some golf balls orbiting each other. Just put them in a container where they're falling with you, but the air's not hitting them. And they should start orbiting, just give them a little push, or we should be able to demonstrate that with magnets. We don't have to use permanent magnets. We could use electromagnets that have just a slight little charge, and we could even give the one in the middle, the orbiting body, we could give it a stronger charge, with just using a little more current, right, and a little less charge on the outside ones, and get some kind of demonstration of orbit. And we've been nagging at them forever, so they probably tried it, but it can't be done. It can't be demonstrated But they defend this shit with their life, don't they? I don't know why.
Brandon, when you make your video for this,
Yeah.
emphasize the part of them being hidden by the cloud and then reappearing under the cloud, because that gets rid of the notion that they're getting too small due to angular size.
Yes.
Because if they were getting too small, they wouldn't be reappearing. They would just be disappearing and not reappearing once the cloud, once it gets through the cloud a little bit.
Indeed. And that's what I'm showing on screen right now. Might be a little small, but you can clearly see the black right here. There's blackness in the center of the screen. That is the satellite. And if I back it up, you'll see it go into the cloud. Here we go. You see it? There's the black. There's the parachute or whatever's coming out, the balloon. Now watch. This is in slow motion. So here it goes. It's going towards the cloud. Okay, here we go. Now it's in the cloud. It's partially blocked by the cloud. Now it is under the cloud. Now we see it reemerge. We see it half in, half out. There it is. Now it's under the cloud again. See it?
Yep.
There it is, peeking out the corner. There it is again. There it goes under the cloud again. It's weird because everywhere we see the cloud and it goes under it, we don't see it anymore. And then where we see what looks like a gap in the clouds, we see it when it goes past that point. It's that's a weird optical illusion.
Yeah, that's no fucking optical illusion. It's going. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, one more thing. Look, we're watching these rockets go up, and we're getting times. What do you call them? Trails. The fast motion or slow motion photography showing the trails of these rockets, and they're not going that high. I mean, they're going up there. They're awesome to watch, man. I've had a couple of them pass here that I've filmed personally. Okay, but they're not that high. Okay, they're I'll be generous.
You're talking about
a few years back, Jibby Jedi, basically a flat earther, did the ISS or the Space Shuttle Apocalypse. Now, what he demonstrates is that for all of the shuttle missions, they reuse the same takeoffs with different contrasts and lighting and stuff. And, the 114 was the same as the 97, and they juxtaposed all these stuff. I'm sure it's a good presentation, and if you made contact with him, he'd let you present it here. He'd probably come on the damn show, and And
hey, can y'all hear me now?
So, like, this
we heard you before, yeah.
So fake, and this is nothing new in a sense. And there's a good detailed one that Jibby Jedi did. That wow, it's an eye opener. It's so.
Well, why don't you pop us a link? I'm not sure
what
you're talking about.
The one I filmed is north, because like I said, I'm north of Cape Canaveral, okay, about 100 miles, maybe about 70 miles actually, okay, and it come north, okay, and I filmed it, and it happened to be that the wires that I'm filming, that it was behind, parallax-wise, were parallel wires, and you see the thing my wife pointed out. She's like, look at it going down in the wires. So it's got to be coming north, because I never see them except for the couple that have went north, and it's coming up the coast. And I see it, and it's dropping down in the wire, showing that it's going down because it's already far away from Cape Canaveral. But the point is, okay, if you time it out, it's just barely faster than an airplane that I filmed going across the sky.
That's how you get to space, bro. You got to go down. You don't understand.
Yeah, I definitely don't, brother.
Well, that one, speaking of that, Brian, you put out a video, I think it was yesterday, that I thought was really good and included some demonstrations. I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but there was one where I think you mentioned there where you showed a video clip of it coming across your field of view. I've actually got your thing up here. And
yeah, show it.
Yeah, I'll bring this up, make it a little bigger here, but let me see if I can find the spot where that clip is. I think it was towards the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's at the end, probably like 11 minutes or 10 and a half minutes or something.
Yeah, here it is, right
but
here. Yeah, so this one, this is coming across your field of view. This is coming towards you and going in front of you, so it's not going away from you. That is not going down due to perspective. That is clearly going down. And if it was just perspective, you pointed out that it would go in a straight line because that's how we see things that move away from us in a parallel to the surface of the earth. As they move away, they go down, they go in a straight line. That does not. It
Exactly.
arcs.
Airplanes, birds, anything flying level. But the drones, the sun, the moon, it's just basically a straight path. But them rockets, they're an arcing path. So they can't be maintaining an altitude if they're arcing. That's not how perspective works, unless it's really highly refracted by the water. And you might get a bridge here and there that looks like it's arcing, but that's not the normal rules of perspective. But yeah, you should show that torch thing too. What I did is I hung what I was trying to do is I looked it up, and because I wasn't convinced that they could get combustion. Jimbo's right on that. They're not going to get combustion in a perfect vacuum. So what I was trying to do is see how much the combustion adds to the push. So I balanced a wand from a 20-pound propane tank. I just balanced it hanging up, and I had the propane blasting out of it, and it pushes just a little bit, man. It's and then you light it, and it ignites, and it's loud and overwhelming, but it doesn't add not even a speck of push to it, man.
Yeah, that was interesting. So I've got you on screen presenting that now. I don't know if I'm still sharing that in Discord.
Yeah, if you fast forward about 30 seconds. Yeah, I see it. If you fast forward about 30 seconds, probably, you see where I light it, and you'll see the thing move when I turn the gas on, and it's booking out of there. It barely moves. Now the blower, you turn it on, and it practically supports itself, man, with pushing against the air. But I put my money on if I put a vacuum at the end of that blower, it's not going to push at all because the vacuum is going to be sucking the air out, stealing its push, you know.
Right. Yeah. So I'm showing it right now. You lit it, and then you turn the propane up, and it does move. But it moved when you turned the propane up without it lit, right?
Exactly. Good eye. So that's what I was demonstrating. When you turn it up, and it's blasting out of there, and it moves a little bit. But remember, that thing's balancing. So it ain't moving a lot, but yeah, it's moving. There's no way for it not to be moving when you turn it up. But then you light it. I'll do it 3 times, and the last time I got that gas full blast. It was kind of scary taking that little torch, lighting it. But I wanted to see, okay, if I got all this propane blasted out of here, because what they're claiming is they have a chamber that has not a full atmosphere, but a good portion of an atmosphere where they do the combustion, and then they blast off the gas for more speed. So if the combustion's giving it more speed, we should see it. You know, we should see that push. It doesn't matter if we're on Earth or wherever. So when I ignite it coming out of there, it certainly gets louder and hotter. But it doesn't do nothing as far as thrust wise, nothing at all.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. I didn't know what to make of it because it's not like that propane torch has a combustion chamber, so it doesn't have anything to harness that that pressure that is being created. That increased pressure when that is lit on fire, that gas. There's nothing to harness that energy.
But you see what I'm saying, though, Brandon? You see what I'm saying? In other words, look. So if that gas is blasting out of there, okay, I couldn't simulate a explosion inside a container, but what I've done is I've simulated the propane shooting out of there. Now, they say it's more powerful, okay? It's more powerful because it's faster. They say when it's combusted, it makes it faster or whatnot. I just wanted to see if the combustion itself gave it more thrust, you know, and it ain't proven that 100%, but it's just more supporting evidence. And also with the balloon blocking the nozzle, and they can't. I've heard somebody say, "Well, it's blowing against the paper, evening it out." No, you could just put a long nozzle on the balloon, and it's still just going to sit there. It has to have something to push against. Period. And you can't get ignition. Cody's lab, like Jimbo pointed out, Cody's lab pointed that out with its own oxygen supply, the high explosives, a few things, the most flammable shit he could find, and he couldn't get combustion in a vacuum that wasn't half as powerful as the almighty vacuum they talk about up there.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot lately because it bugs me. There's something unintuitive about their explanation because they'll sit there and they'll go Newton's third. You don't know Newton's third. For every reaction, there's an equal and opposite. Or for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. I'm like, well, yeah, but what is the action and what is the reaction? Because if it's just pushing mass out the back of the rocket, why do they light it on fire? That's why I asked that one day. Well, why do they ignite it? And like I think that's what you're getting at is They ignite it because they say that that makes it go faster out the back, right? So that increases the velocity of the mass being ejected. But the mass isn't lit on fire. The fuel isn't lit on fire until it's in the combustion chamber. They inject it into the combustion chamber, then light it on fire. So it's always the same amount of mass, regardless of whether it's on fire or not.
Exactly.
So how
man.
is it
And,
just the mass, and why are they lighting it on fire? What I think is going on is, and they even say it, because I was researching on some videos, and let me bring this video up. I watched this over the weekend, and it's called NASA's Baffling Engine Problem from Primal Space. And they talk about how the ignition, let me turn closed captioning on because I'm not going to play this because I'll definitely get popped. But let me just play this one part. Looks like I need to restart the stream real quickly, and then I'll continue on my explanation here. This is really bad tonight.
It's blowing its own sail too. They confirmed the myth. You can blow your own sail. They did it on a boat, and you can blow your own sail. But to me, I compare it to jumping on a trampoline with infinite springs, where you go to jump on the trampoline, and you touch it, and it starts going down, 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 and it just keeps going down. It never pops back up. You know, that's basically a rocket in a vacuum in my brain. It's like an infinite trampoline. It's just sucking while you're pushing it, sucking.
Yeah, exactly. So in this video, this baffling engine problem, now I'll just read what it says, but they're talking about the F1 engine again, which is an amazing feat of engineering. On the first stage, each capable of producing 1.5 million pounds of thrust. Then this is what caught my eye. He's going to say something here. In order to achieve this amount of thrust, massive amounts of RP1 fuel and liquid oxygen, and they show it injected into the chamber, had to be pumped into the thrust chamber. So see, they're thrusting it from the tanks. They're mixing the oxidizer and the fuel. They're forcing that into the combustion chamber, right? And then they're igniting it. They're igniting it after they have already pushed it out, and it's ignited inside the combustion chamber. Now, here's what he says here. Had to be pumped into the thrust chamber. Here are two propellants would combust and lift the Saturn V away from the launch pad. Okay, so the combustion, the first stage alone would burn through an entire Olympic swimming pool worth of fuel. But there's something he says in here. The ignition of the fuel is responsible for the thrust. Why is...
And it's happening inside a chamber. Now, they like to use a bullet and a gun, okay? Now, I looked into that, too. Now, the average handgun, okay, is around 1 kilogram. I mean, around, 1 kilogram, which is like 2 pounds. Okay, now the average bullets are between 12 and 20 grams, okay? So a bullet, okay, so if you had a gun in Spaceballing and you're comparing that, okay, then you're comparing that the bullet is the gas and the gun is the rocket. Okay, so you fire the gun, and the gun ain't going to hardly go nowhere. The bullet's going to haul butt, okay? I'll say that. I'll give them that for now. And but here's the thing. It's 1.2%. The bullet is one. So by the time you get 61 bullets or 64 whatever bullets, then that's now you got more bullets than gun. Okay, which is what they're claiming with their rocket. Okay, but you could have 1,000 bullets. So that 1 million pounds of thrust, that bullet is coming out in like 0.1 milliseconds. So they need that or let's say that 1 million tons of thrust. They need every second. They need 1,000 swimming pools. They don't need just one. Okay, they burn that one pool. Okay, I'll give them that. But they need 1,000 of them pools, and that's just for 1 second. You could say by 1 second, but you got to break it down. If you're going to compare it to a bullet and a gun, let's do it accurately. So 0.1 millisecond, or basically 1 millisecond, you're going to get 1.2% of the weight. It just doesn't add up, man. I have a hard time explaining it, but take a look at the numbers, man. They can't maintain that, man. And I'm not saying. Let me make one thing clear. I'm seeing the rockets up there. I'm filming it. However high it is, if it's above airplanes, then if it is above airplanes at all, then it's real thin up there. And I'm watching.
Well,
it go.
I've
So
seen one of
I'm
those.
not claiming that it ain't up there. My claim is that it's not a vacuum up there, man. That's why I showed the balloons. The air is still in the balloon when he drops it into liquid nitrogen. It's just there's something about it. It's the pressure goes down, but the particles are up there. It's not a vacuum, in my opinion.
I've seen one of those trajectories before where it actually starts to come down, and there just happened to be a plane in the sky near it, and it starts to come down before it even gets to the height of the plane. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, those things are clearly not getting very high. I mean, they just don't look like they're that high.
Yeah.
Why they're doing that, I don't know. I think it's just weapons testing. I don't know why they're doing that. Why are they doing that? Why are they putting on this dog and pony show?
Because they got to make it look good. The thing is, I'd like to see other countries' space, rocket take trajectories to see if it even looks as good as NASA's. I bet you it looks horrible.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's bothered me my whole life is rockets in space. So I figured they got to get speed. They got to just hit it. And then they said they need a certain speed to leave the Earth. So I figured they have to hit a certain speed because they're not going to be able to thrust and steer and shit. And then they got to head for like the moon to do a slingshot. And they can come out of it. They can be in the outside of the moon's atmosphere and just barely get enough steering and slingshot to get the speed to shoot toward Venus and do another slingshot. But somehow they snuck it in that they're steering and doing all kinds of other shit. They had a good explanation that satisfied me while I was asleep. But while we was asleep, we might believe that okay, it's going off at a distance, trying to catch the right angle to leave the Earth. But who in their right mind after hearing the skepticism could still buy this shit?
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree. And this stuff like this has bothered me my entire life. And I think that's one thing I find common when I talk to flat earthers is they have these things that have been nagging them for years. And especially after you research flat earth and you go, you know what? I think the earth is actually flat. I think they have been lying. And you kind of swallow that pill and allow yourself to explore that idea. You look back and you realize there have been these things that don't make intuitive sense, don't make sense no matter how long, and they've been bothering you for years that suddenly makes sense. Like it used to bother me thinking about earth curvature. I'd be like, so everything's curved? So all bridges are curved? So, no matter how long something is, it has to be curved, right? Or when a helicopter takes off, why can't it just hover? That kind of stuff. And of course they have explanations for all of them and they sound plausible and they have big words in them and they have mathematics that they can show you, but does it make any sense? No, it doesn't make any sense. That's why it bothers us, in my opinion.
Conservation of momentum.
I was asleep to all that,
Right.
bro. I was asleep to all that. I did a seawall down in St. Augustine, Florida, man. And it wasn't like miles and miles long, but it was long, real long. And I subcontracted it, and I laid that thing out flat. And I'm just doop-de-doo, never even considering that, is this thing getting higher than the water as I go? Because on Earth curve, it's supposed to. I'm just leveled it out horizontal, flat, the way I was taught. But when I was a kid, man, and I've been doing this shit for years and never even considered that the ground's supposed to be dropping away.
Nah, no one's ever worried about
Totally
any of that
asleep.
shit, man. No one happening, man. It doesn't happen. No one takes earth curvature. I know they say such and such building or such and such bridge, they had to take earth curvature into account. Bullshit, man. When you look into it, the amount that they had to take into account was like less than the freaking error over that distance you could possibly hope to achieve when building something that large. I mean, you ever heard of something called, what is it called? When you stack things up together, there's a term for it in engineering where you stack things up and it's this small errors that accumulate over all of these layers being stacked on top or next to each other.
Yeah, like a margin of error or something.
Yeah, the margin of error. You're always going to have some kind of margin of error. It's very difficult unless you're doing fine, machined pieces or really, really tightly controlled parts to get that.
Yeah, but you get probabilities, man. Higher probabilities.
Comedy of error.
Comedy of error.
Cumulative or even collimated, right? But, yeah.
Error.
Why do you say that,
It's
Data?
just an
Or probability.
I see we have a couple of people joined us that I haven't mentioned yet. Let me do that just so They can say hello if they want to. We've got Howard left lane. What's up, man?
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I'm in and out of service up here in the mountains.
Okay, no problem. My computer's in and out of service tonight for some odd reason. So
Yeah,
that's two of us.
Yeah, aggravating, isn't it?
It's very frustrating. I restarted the stream like 20 times tonight, but I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Drive safe up there, man. And we've got patient 0, Aaron. What's up, man?
What's going on, guys and ladies?
And Rakia Life. How you doing, man? I was hoping to hear those poker chips. Maybe he'll say hello. Yeah, I put the link to your latest video in the chat. It's nice to see you out there doing some stuff, really simple stuff, just thinking about things and doing practical demonstrations, which is something we never get from the globe, is practical demonstrations of the fantastical things they tell us, such as the spinning Velcro atmosphere is one of them. So it is nice to see.
Well, listen,
everything else.
They're too busy doing all the important things that we aren't doing, man. Come on.
Oh yeah, like building iPhones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So iPhones can't work on a flat Earth. We know this.
That's true. I keep forgetting about that. Professor Phil Bell is not happy with me tonight. He says, "What color?" He spelled color with a U, so that right there is suspect to me as an American. What color is the sky at cloud level? Did you forget the RISAT satellite?
That guy's a communist.
Yeah, exactly. He's on the suspect list. Did you forget the RISAT satellite seen in the right-hand camera? Why is the sky black?
Dude, did he forget the part where the thing disappears behind the cloud, then reappears, then disappears again?
It's an optical illusion.
Mister, it's an optical illusion and it's not going down.
Oh, I think he did forget, or he has conveniently convinced himself that that's not what's seen in that video. What about the parachutes there, Professor Phil? What are those white things that are being deployed from the top of those satellites? Can you explain that to us and what's going on there? They look exactly like parachutes. Like if I was shown that and no one told me it was a satellite, and I could see it a little better. You can barely see it, but you can see it well enough to know that's a parachute or something else extremely like a parachute. So let's hear the explanation for that.
Something else parachute-y.
Yeah, which I can only think of like two things. What else could it be, right?
Well, let's be honest. It wouldn't take a very big balloon to float something that small. You could get a
parachute
balloon,
adjacent.
But it does look like a parachute, but it could be a small balloon. It wouldn't, like I said, it wouldn't take a giant balloon like the ones we see them launch, the Google balloons, or the ones they demonstrate.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it wouldn't take that big of a. Who knows how long they could last? They've had to have had advances in balloon technology. They sent that one up there, and I know they'll tell you it's not a real balloon. It was just the protective skin. But Echo 1 was up there for like 7 years. So you're telling me they can't create a balloon that'll stay up there? I don't know.
Once you get up that high, I don't think
go ahead.
Once you get up that high, I don't think there's really much wind. So, I mean, if you had a little gas container or something that could capture gas or something up there where you could keep it filled with gas, I mean, you could keep one up there indefinitely, I would imagine.
Think about this, though, man. If it hits them, I was wrong about the negative 472. It's like it's negative 272 was the temperature I was looking for, Celsius. That's like right before absolute zero, but that's what the Go Fast rocket shows. So let's just follow me here. I'm just speculating, so I'm not making no claims, but it's fun to speculate sometimes. Let's say it's superfluid up there. Let's say when you get up high, the gases separate out a little bit, and we have helium and hydrogen. So helium 3 basically refers to it hitting like a third stage, like cooling down basically, and losing pressure and cooling down. And that's what they mean by helium-3. It's like the third stage of hitting the superfluid, if I'm not mistaken. So let's just say there's superfluid up there, and you wouldn't need much thrust. Just think if you just had like a burner or a coil up there to heat up, man, it would propel. I mean, it might propel, or just a little bit of thrust, heat thrust, could propel things, man. Like we see them plumes, right? We see them plumes when they hit that certain altitude, man, that spread out. So it might not take much at all. Good.
Brian, they're at the cloud level, bro. This isn't super.
Oh yeah, at that level. Hey, at that level, the wind is super fast. Like it does get still.
Yeah.
Like you said, when they hit a certain height, sometimes the winds stop. But
Yeah, but
sometimes
they're
they
at
don't.
cloud
But yeah,
level
but
in
underneath
this.
that, the winds are fast as shit, right? Because balloons, you can throw a balloon and it's not gonna go nowhere hardly. You throw it as hard as you can, it doesn't go nowhere. But then balloons take off in the wind.
But wait, I see a contrast here. You don't believe that explosive rockets work in space, but you think a heating coil will provide propulsion.
No, I said this, Howard. I said that they're up there, okay? So I don't think that there's nothing up there because I'm filming it myself. I question their altitude, and I question the fact there's a vacuum up there. I think there's something else, man. Like superfluid, man.
I thought you said something about a heating coil providing propulsion.
I'm just giving something that's popular, man. Like just say if something was in a pool of superfluid and it was hot, it would just kind of get darted out, kind of, just try to give something for the imagination.
I want to know if any of the Globers are going to address. I want to know if any of the Globers are going to address the point of us seeing the satellite, and then it gets hidden by the cloud, and then we see it again. So it's clearly not angular size making it disappear, since the cloud blocks it, and then we see it again.
Oh, I'm looking
Glober
to that too.
My bad.
No, I'm looking for answers to that too. I've seen the video that Brandon presented, and I'm waiting and looking for the answer to it.
We're looking for it. You're right.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, huh, Howard? That's a pretty interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's an interesting video. If they're claiming that to be a satellite, and what it appears to do is contradictory.
Exactly.
The thing is, this is what happens when these half-ass third world countries try faking space. This is what you end up with.
We do have Hollywood. That's a big advantage.
Yeah.
What I was referring to earlier, Howard, you know how you take, ice cold water, and if you throw something boiling in there, like a metal flake, a red hot metal flake, it just darts it out of there. Or if you take boiling water and you throw something real cold in there, it just blasts it out. It don't even let it in. So if they penetrate that superfluid, I'm just saying, heat, any kind of heat directed, could give them some major propulsion, man. I mean, there's got to be some way to propel it there. Like I said, I'm just speculating. But yeah, them satellites that they're dropping or whatever they are, they're not shrinking down to a dot, man. So to me, the argument's over right there. And just by looking at it, they're going down.
No,
because of the law of conservation of momentum.
You can watch them the whole way. You see them the whole way. I zoomed in like a mother, and they still take up way more than 1 pixel. And you see them partially covered by the clouds, then partially uncovered multiple times as they disappear into the clouds. And there's damn parachutes or something coming out of the top of these satellites. And I got no explanation other than it's an optical illusion. That ain't going to cut it.
Hey, what are they doing getting hidden by the clouds if they're satellites?
Why are they going down?
They're going down
up.
into the clouds. It's clear cut, man.
They have three options. They have 3 orbital options. LRO, low Earth orbit, medium, and 25,000 stationary. Why are they going down, and how are they going to get up there? How?
You guys got some explaining to do, Phil.
Let's hear
Got
it,
some
Phil.
explaining to do there.
Let's hear your optical illusion. Now this is getting really crazy, this optical illusion, because it's actually getting hidden by the clouds and then reappearing. This is going to be fucking tough. We got a pinata of fucking Glober excuses on the way.
Yeah, you guys better work on this one. I'm going to get that second video out about the covered and uncovered in the middle one that we just noticed, pretty much, or I just noticed, and the parachutes or whatever they are. Now, Phil is saying you can't deploy parachutes at 2 million feet. Phil, I think the answer is in your statement there. You can't deploy parachutes at 2 million feet. Then what are they?
Also, when did we get fucking clouds at 2 million feet?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Let's look that up right now and see how high clouds are. How
And
high?
how do they know their altitude anyway? What are they judging by their altitude in the first place. If it's a dynamic system.
The data.
They claim to have nocturnal or noctilus clouds. I forgot the name of them, but they claim to be very high. But those aren't the. It's not that kind of clouds that we're seeing there, though. Those are clear cut Earth clouds, like 50,000 feet top, 60,000 maybe.
Also, another question: are they conserving momentum? I'd like to ask the good professor that.
Cumulonimbus clouds, I think, go up to what?
80,000?
60,000 is what this says. Yeah, 60,000, 80. We'll give them 80. What's that? 16 miles? This is supposed to be 360 miles higher than that.
Yeah, bro, you could give them 10 times the amount of the whatever it says, and it's not even close. Yeah.
Yep.
How high they say they are?
370. What was it? I did the conversion. It is excuse me, those numbers are wrong. 357, so about 340 miles higher. 576 kilometers.
Man, give me a break, man.
From their website, brother. Right here, 576 kilometers.
We got us some space clouds up there, no?
Space clouds.
They do have there is a different kind of cloud. They're called nocturnal or noctilus clouds or something, and they're pretty high. I forgot the exact height of them.
Let's look it up.
I don't have the link up.
Noctilus clouds.
Noculus or something. I don't even know.
Noctilucent?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, we'll give them this too. 76,000 to 85, 250K to 280,000 feet. So those are quite a bit higher, but an order of magnitude lower than the rocket's supposed to be. Yeah.
Still ain't. That ain't.
Okay, does that word sound interesting? Wouldn't that have to do with night, and lucent has to do with its visual aspect?
Yeah, you can only see them at night.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
So so it does mean something like night shining clouds.
And
Okay.
I'll give them 15 miles, and that's a gift.
Yeah, so the highest clouds aren't even coming close to this shit.
Yeah, and these
By the way, what's up, Rock?
These don't look like
I have a question.
noctilucent clouds.
How are clouds forming in a vacuum?
That's a good question. How are those parachutes working in a vacuum?
That's another good question. Yes, sir.
Look at this. Look at these noctilucent clouds. Do you guys see this on the screen? This looks like
I've looked into them before.
These look like god dang ocean in the sky. Look at this.
Earth glow, right?
It looks like a freaking
So
ocean.
where did this video come from?
Professor Phil.
And what is it?
You actually got sent.
Yes, we were.
You actually got sent this damning evidence of space fakery by a Glober.
I do.
Yeah.
I thank
Yeah.
Bill for sending us things, though, man. He's showing us stuff. If they're going to prove it, that's.
Are you sure he's a Glober?
Right.
Maybe
Are you
not.
sure he's a Glober?
Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he's a double agent.
That's right.
Double agent.
Undercover agent.
Could be after that. I mean, I wouldn't send this. I wouldn't have sent that to people that I'm on the other, the opposite end of the fence.
So we got to consider, though, that they're being honest. That they're being honest with what they say or they think they are. So that's why I'm constantly trying to think of a way that could explain it. I'm trying to think of something that could explain what they're seeing and what we're seeing, and kind of like a happy median. Because I don't deny what I do see, but I do deny some of the claims, obviously. But I'm trying to think of a happy median. There's got to be.
Bro, this is clear cut.
What they're thinking is causing that.
Dude, this is clear cut. They're in the clouds. Like, there's no happy medium on this. They're in the clouds.
Oh,
you can see the cloud.
I ain't referring to that. I'm referring to like the propulsion and shit. That shit's up there propelling somebody. It is higher than planes, so it ain't much nothing up there to propel against. The planes ain't working.
We don't know the technology. I argue with this over at Gems with them all the time. They don't know the technology NASA has. Neither do you. So, they could have crazy shit. They could have crazy shit that we don't know about. You don't know.
Yeah, they could. Who knows what they've got? I mean, obviously they're firing rockets. That's really happening. Obviously, they're getting data
Well-
from somewhere. That's really happening.
They might not be firing rockets.
Well, they're putting
Not
something
always.
up into the
You're
sky.
right. You're right, Bob. Not always. They may not always be actually firing rockets. I agree with you there, but sometimes
well,
they are.
People watch this shit. I mean,
Yeah, sometimes
something's
they're
going up
definitely-
in the sky.
Definitely firing something up into the sky.
Yeah, yeah.
We were talking about this the other day on Gems. I think, I don't know if you were there, Jeremy. I think Rakio was there. And the stuff that they have today here, I'll just give you one thing. It's called Scramjet. It's the X-43 plane. This plane was designed and tested in 2000. It must have been thought about in the 80s. Imagine what they have now.
That's what I mean. Nobody knows what technology they have or don't have. You know, they might not have shit. Who knows? They might, it could all be a big elaborate hoax.
Another fun fact. They themselves say that they have balloons that can reach 99.5% above the Earth's atmosphere. A balloon, right? Now imagine what else, make it go like 180,000 feet, and then you can attain any speed you want. Just about.
I mean, yeah, if there's very little atmosphere up there, why couldn't you make a balloon move fast?
It's kind of interesting that Professor Phil sends us a video of cardboard boxes being dropped out of something, going along with all the technology that Montreal just mentioned, right? We have all this technology, and that's the best he can do is cardboard boxes being dropped out of an airplane.
This is the most damning evidence of space fakery I've seen in a very long time. I can't believe you got sent this by a Glober. This is amazing.
After bugging him for a video of his rockets for a long time, he sent the link to this and said, "Here."
Video looks genuine. Like it don't look like this fake, CGI crap that they send us, all the time.
Yeah.
At least it looks like
genuine,
a real
but...
video,
Yeah, whatever they're doing, it's a real video of something. Yeah, I agree.
The colors are right. You understand what I'm saying, right?
That part of the video, earlier in the video when they're like in space and that gold thing is going out, I'm not so sure about. But when these satellites are supposedly dropped, that looks real to me. That doesn't look like CGI.
Yeah, and
they're sending me a photo from 350 miles up through all the atmosphere and whatever's up there down to a marina. That's showing the post of the marina and the ropes of the boat. I'm calling BS on that. There's no imaging around that can do that. And they're saying that's from a satellite. No way. High altitude plane, I agree with. But just look at even the high altitude footage, that you're having to use a magnifying glass to see things with. And now they're sending us images from 350 miles up that you can see the ropes of a boat. No way.
Yeah, nah.
That's all fake.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think there's some kind of, if they say they're going 100 miles, maybe they're going 10 miles. At some point, they switch over to a Fantasyland mathematics system or something. And that's how they say, well, the math all works out because they've got some kind of mathematical model that allows them to still do everything they need to do because it's consistent all over the face of the earth. But the heights are not real heights. It's just numbers. Does that make sense to anybody what I'm trying to say? I'm not explaining it very well.
It's basically like a
model.
Space conversion chart. Like this is how high you're actually going. Check it on this line. Move your finger over. Here's how high you're going in space units, in NASA units.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And they can multiply it and they can divide it and they can calculate orbits or whatever. But when you actually, transition that back to the real world, that 100 miles.
You got shit falling through the clouds.
Yeah. You got satellites falling through the fucking clouds. Exactly.
That's so funny. You know what I was thinking of this analogy, guys? Check this out. It's like a submarine, right? Or no, a boat, right? You launch a torpedo, right? And you're hunting a submarine. But instead of the torpedo going down into the water, it goes up.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the same thing with this launch. Why are you launching them down? They're supposed to be going up, like 10,000 miles, 20,000 miles. What's going on here?
Listen. Thousands of years ago, Eratosthenes grabbed some sticks and jumped in a well and fell down, and that's how you get to space. Okay, look it up.
Sorry, Bob. I got it.
Educate yourself.
I'm so dumb, yeah.
The graphs that was great, Bob. That was great.
You know what I love? I love it when those space videos. Have you seen them where they're watching the rocket launch and the little kid will go, "It's going down. Why is it going down?" You know, there's like 4 or 5.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite. And the father starts explaining, well, you see, and
yeah.
yeah.
It just looks
it's really
like
bad.
it's
It's kind of annoying the way the dad in one of those videos talks to the kid. He asks the kid, "Well, is it going down or are we spinning?" And it's just like, well, do you really need to ask your child that question? No, it's going down, buddy.
Exactly. Oh, it matters what reference frame you're looking at it from, Bob. Don't forget.
Right. Okay. Yep. My bad.
Okay.
I want to see a demonstration of
big
this
RF.
satellite in geostationary orbit, man. Because they can't get into orbit and spinning around and free falling and then just stop. Well, I guess they can with their rockets. Yeah, they can just slam on brakes up there. I forgot. So that got you out the door due to their magic rockets, man. I don't know, man.
They're just flying. They're just like going into the curve. I don't know, man. It's not that difficult to think of. I don't think. Like, it's not going down. They're just going. They're following the curve of the Earth, but really high up.
Yeah.
Well, sure, that's the claim.
That's what they say,
I mean, we're not denying that that's the claim.
They're not
We're
that
just
high.
saying it's bullcrap. That's all.
I'm just saying they're not going down.
We've heard the story.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
According to their
fantasy. Listen, Santa Claus has magic deer. It's not that hard to understand, okay? I don't think it's that difficult. He has magical reindeer. That's how he gets to all the houses in one night. Duh.
But you can't see.
Bro, I
Santa
have
Claus
a-
on Christmas night flying.
I have
Can't
a
see the
Rudolph.
curve either.
I have a Rudolph the
You can see the
Red-Nosed
rocket.
theory, so we know that's good.
Speaking of clouds and space observations, right? The ISS. I don't know if you ever clicked on the ISS channel. It's a live feed ISS, right? When it's daytime or nighttime, right? The Earth is covered with clouds. You can't see shit, right? You just see alleged cities and lights and like all.
Well,
this
usually
cool
blacks
shit,
out.
right?
It usually blacks out at night.
I'll give you $100 if you can show me 24 hours non-stop coverage
Yeah,
of the
bro,
ISS.
it blacks
Exactly.
out at nighttime. They don't show nothing at night. They say they lose connections because they're on the dark side of Earth or something.
I
shit.
bet.
Yeah, or that exactly.
That is kind of stupid. We should be able to see it all, like constantly. I do get that. That's kind of dumb, but
Yeah. Can you
You
explain
never
why
see
would that be,
24
Tony?
hours. It's always going to cut off.
Why would we have
Bro,
a
they're worried
cutoff?
about the bandwidth. Because the bandwidth, bro.
Oh yeah, all
Come
those
on.
telecommunications satellites for sending,
Yeah.
terabyte and terabyte and terabyte. That one data feed will overload it. I forgot.
Hey,
And
they
that's
only
how
get
you can see like almost two. You can see like more than a state. You can see like almost 2 states, depending on the size of them. You could probably see like all of Texas from that height. And they show this curve, and make it just seem like it's normal. They don't, that's where they had me fooled for years, man. I'm like thinking I'm
They
looking at
show
Earth curve. I'm looking at one damn state, and it's a third of the Earth curve.
It's edge to edge. Yeah, they show you edge to edge. Yeah.
But where are the ballers at to refute this satellite going into the cloud?
yeah, that's
Oh,
a weird.
just give them a day or two, man. They got to get their story straight with each other and
Fine.
discuss it for a little bit. All right?
Give you guys
They
a
got to
couple
come up
days
with
to figure
something. That
out
way they're not
that.
contradicting each other.
What's that, Tony?
I said we give you guys a couple days to figure out your bullshit.
Yeah, it's true.
Give us like 3 days. Give us 3 days.
Fine. 3 days. I want fucking answers.
I got
You
my
have
best
to do
people
a
working
huddle.
on it.
You have to all put all the brain cells together and come up
You
with
know
a
how
good
many
one.
terabytes it takes
All right,
to put a huddle
shoot an
together?
email over to Neil deGrasse, see what his take is. Okay?
Me and Neil are not on the talking terms right now.
Check with Bill Nye, the pseudoscience guy. See what he's
Right,
got to
get
say.
Bill Nye on a Teams call.
Wednesday
See what
high
him and
noon.
Gates think. What the official line is.
Wednesday high noon. If we don't have an acceptable explanation by Wednesday at noon Eastern Standard Time, NASA will be shut down permanently.
We'll accept your conceit.
I can see George doing the calculations right now. Calling
There
Blue.
ain't no
What are we going
calculations
to do?
We see it going
Come
through
on.
the clouds. Like, there's
What are we
no- I
going to
don't-
do? Rumpus, draw some lines.
Yo,
How can
I
we
would
make
not
down
like.
up?
Wait, I didn't hear what the claim is though. I saw the picture, but I missed what you guys were talking about. The picture, like I see it going
Conservation
through
of
clouds.
momentum, angular resolution, breaks all the laws. You name it.
Digital
it breaks it.
zoom anomalies.
But rockets go through clouds, but really you're not supposed to launch through cloudy out.
Well, you'll
No,
have to go
satellites.
back and watch it, but we don't have time to replay it now because we're
I feel
about to
you,
do
I feel
final
you.
thoughts. But here, I'll put the video link in the chat again because at this point, I
Damn,
think
we doing
everybody should
final
watch
thoughts
this a
already?
couple times because every time I watch it, I notice a new bit of fuckery in here.
It was cool looking. That's all I know.
There we go. There it is in chat again, and we're about to close it out. However, I will be putting out another video. I might even work on that tonight. I'm pretty motivated to get that second piece out of there. And we are looking for an actual explanation, not it's an optical illusion, bro. That's not going to cut it. Sorry, Phil. I'm sorry. Millions of dollars, and this is what you hand us and tell us an optical illusion? I don't think so. So we'll see what comes of that. I don't know what we got going on the rest of the week. I know I do need to figure out what the hell is impacting the stream so badly that I have to keep restarting it. So I appreciate that everybody hung out there in the audience through that. And I apologize for the technical difficulties. I'll see what I can do to rectify that. Maybe it's just a software upgrade or something. I'm hoping.
Your servers and stuff. You have to do traceroute and other simple web would be the best.
What's that, Jimbo? Do what?
Traceroute and ping and do. There's a few tools available to tell you exactly what's wrong with your connection, where it's at.
Oh,
Just shut off all the porn sites, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, but what am I going to look at during the show? So I don't know what the hell's
You got
going
that
on.
Verizon Fios?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best shit. I got that too.
Are you hardwired?
Clouds passing the satellite, messing it up, man.
I'm hardwired.
Are you Wi-Fi or hardwired to your system for your connection?
Hardwired. I'm hardwired.
So it's not
Your
a Wi-Fi.
satellites fell into the clouds. That's all, Brandon. You'll be fine.
That
An
might,
optical illusion.
that might. Yeah, Mark Collard says, try to see if you can limit your upload resolution and do a test stream. Yeah, I think I'll have to try to do that, Mark.
Just switch to dial-up.
Okay. If that's off my, that'll be my fallback plan. I'll go back to dial-up if I can't figure it out. All right, let's do final thoughts.
All right, guys, we started GoFundMe, okay, so that we can buy servers. We make Internet 2.0.
Yeah, but then they won't let us have web domains or something. They got away, man. We'll never get out of the system. No, I don't know. Okay, let's do final thoughts. Why don't we start off with Brian Leakey? Brian.
Yeah, tonight was fun, man. Good eye, Brandon, right there, man. As if it wasn't already enough. Now you got them pinned down. You got them pinned, so I'm interested to hear their excuses, man. And yeah, everybody's clicking tonight, man. That was fun, man. Let's keep it up, guys. Thank you.
Hell yeah, thanks, Brian. Data. Final thoughts. I saw you come off mute, but I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, we'll come back, Data. Jeremy.
First of all, I want to apologize for yelling at Flat Earth Data, but you pissed me off, so, I had to do it. Second of all, shouts out to Phil Bell for giving us the most damning evidence of space fakery I've seen in years. And good show. We'll be waiting for your explanations.
Hell yeah. Thank you. Jimbo.
Good stuff. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jimbo. Howard.
Shine a light in your life. Get a little high power flash.
Yes. I lost the link, but I will find that again. So we get a second plug in there. Howard.
Yes. Professor Bell, if you indeed provided this video as evidence of satellites launching, please come explain why the satellites appear to be going into the clouds. Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks,
Not
Howard.
appear to. It's. Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. Matrix. Mobius. Aaron.
Cheers, Brandon. Good show. Great video. All right. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Aaron. Rakia. Essie.
Yes, sir, Brandon. Brandon, what a good show today, bro. I was laughing. So now I could envision now the Rumpus, George, Blue, Bob the Science Guy, all the top mathematicians. Now, after seeing this show, they're going to go into a huddle and they're going to say, damn, what are we going to do here? We got to explain how down is up, how conservation of momentum. They're going to ask for that. And what is the orbital height? How did they go up from them going down into the clouds, supposedly? How did they get back up to 10,000 miles? I'm just waiting and patiently dying. I'm going to be dying till tomorrow to hear the answers. Peace out, everybody.
Thanks, Essie. Bob Dole.
I'm gonna kind of bring it back to the topic of the masks and wearing them and stuff like that. I don't think people should be wearing masks to stop the virus. I don't think that there's enough information or enough proof basically showing that viruses are what they claim they are and that masks are going to somehow stop you from getting sick. But I also don't think that it's a good life plan to spend your time accusing other people of certain things. I'll just say certain things because that particular demand or governor order or whatever isn't something you want to follow, but it doesn't necessarily meet the threshold for someone else. And I'll give an example. I don't think the government has any right whatsoever to force me to buckle my child in my own vehicle that I'm driving, I'm steering, I'm controlling. I don't think the government has the right or the purview to basically be inside that vehicle telling me the child needs to be buckled in this way. It has to be buckled. It can't just be sitting in the seat. You have to do this, that, and the other thing to secure the child while you're driving your vehicle on your path. I don't think they have the right to do that. But when I drive, I make sure that all my children are buckled. Okay? It's not because I think it's right that they made the law. It's not because I think that it's okay or that it's something that they can substantiate with good science or anything like that. It's because it's not enough of an issue right now for me to upend or ruin our life or get ourselves ticket after ticket or any of those things. None of that is worth it right now. It's not a stand that I need to take right now. And there's going to be different things that people are willing to accept, even if they're not right, for the sake of just getting along. And that's okay as long as the core principles are not violated. And it's like I said before, there's multiple layers to it. But like I don't think it's right for them to force people to wear that seatbelt. But I'm still going to make my kids wear the seatbelt. Okay? And yeah, no, it's not right for them to try and force people to wear the mask. But if somebody is okay with wearing the mask and they don't think that there's anything wrong with wearing the mask, it's still wrong for the mandate to be there. And at the same exact time, it can be right for them to wear the mask because they don't mind. Those two things can exist at the exact same time. Wrong for the mandate, right to wear the mask.
Well said, Bob. Thank you. Tony V. Oh, damn. No, Tony. There was a couple people who didn't speak. Data. No? Okay. Oh, there he is.
My mic is really low again.
Oh, yeah, it's incredibly low. Let me see if I got you turned up.
Anyway, good show, man. It's all good. Have a good.
Yeah, thank you, Data. Thank you very much. Good heated discussion earlier. Appreciate it, man. All right, I'll be back. I will record some after show. And yeah, give me a minute. All right, thanks everybody. Again, I apologize for the stream quality. I don't know what the hell's the problem. I restarted right before the show, and I gotta make sure all the software is up to date or something. I'll figure it out. But thanks for sitting through that. I thought that was a really excellent show, and I am going to get to work putting out that second video, pointing out the things that I missed in the first video with the satellites that are clearly falling into the clouds and have parachutes or some other such contraption deployed from the back of them. So if you have a good explanation, hit me up on YouTube and let me know what's going on there, because that doesn't comport to the reality that we've been sold. All right. We will see you tomorrow night. Same time, same place. There may not be a Friday show this week, depending on some plans that I have in the works. So just be forewarned, maybe no stream on Friday. Other than that, we'll see you here, 5:05 Eastern Standard Time, 10:05 GMT. And have a good night, folks. Bye.